them, they can't stop them, each other's deuce. My brother got his own hot burger at Tucker Deuce. Now my rush more of these sports, spitting the truth. It's Channing Crowder, greatest Dolphins who rock the 52. Solana, best of Miami, the voice of FIU. We reppin' to Miami, the Heat and the Panthers too. We reppin' for the Marlins, the Dolphins, that's how we do. We reppin' for the Queens, so it's always about the you. Hey Jimmy, please get a Pell on the phone and tell him that it's on. I finally got his name on the song, can't do him wrong, cause it sounds so sweet. You spit the fast while I keep the crowd on their feet. Football season be the reason that I be bringing this heat. Georgia music representing 104.3. Hey,
live from the Play Show, yet not overly ostentatious studios of 104.3 FM, WQAM. Welcome on in to a Wednesday edition of Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Zach Gelb in for Hawk on this summer Wednesday. Crowder will join us at some point. Dan Day also back in the shop. We got a whole lot to do today as we're off and running, and we're here until 6 p.m. We'll be joined by Ira Winderman coming up at 2:25. He was at the Klay Thompson press conference yesterday, and as some people are saying on the internet these days, I thought he was mogging in the Klay Thompson press conference, just getting questioning after questioning and basically too-smalling all the other reporters. So we'll chat with Ira coming up at 2:25. And then at 3:25 today, he's with the Miami Dolphins for a long time, then went to the Jets, then went to the Saints, and wrapped up an illustrious career in the NFL with the Denver Broncos. Former special teams coach Mike Westhoff is going to join us. But Solana, how you doing today on this Wednesday?
I'm doing well, Gelb. How are you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing sensational. And I was all in a good mood. I was very chipper as I was getting ready to come on and host the show today. And then I peruse on the good old cesspool of Twitter. And when I get on Twitter and I go to my account at Zach Gelb, ZACHGELB, a shameless plug, make sure you follow me. Are you familiar with the Dolphins reporter for the ESPN? I think I'm saying his name correctly. Marcel Louis Jacques?
Yeah, Marcel Louis Jacques.
Okay, so I made him like Louis Domingue. So Marcel Louis Jacques. Is that right?
Marcel Louis Jacques.
Marcel Louis Jacques. So I saw him tweet out, Jeff Hafley said the Miami Dolphins are still evaluating whether the team has enough NFL talent at safety, and the same could be said for multiple positions. Okay, like, no crap. We know that this Dolphins team is not that good. We've talked about it all summer long. How, yeah, they have Devon Achane. Yeah, they have Jordan Brooks, maybe another piece or two. I understand. I'm cognizant of the fact that this Miami Dolphins team, you don't look at the roster and you're not sitting there saying, oh, gee golly, this team's going to have 11 or 12 wins this year, and they're going to have a special season. So that tweet didn't really set me off. And then I see a tweet from Dan Duggan, who covered the Jets and the Giants, and I think he's now national with The Athletic. He quote tweeted that, and he said 0-17 is firmly on the table for the Miami Dolphins. Now, I sit here, and I wanted to get on the radio, Solana, and you know me, and to our wonderful audience on YouTube, and go, this guy, Dan Duggan, screw him, F him, like 0-17, they play the Jets twice. And I'm sitting there and I go, you know what? Before I lose my mind, before I go off on Dan Duggan, who I haven't talked to Dan in a while. I know he covered the Giants. He's a senior writer for The Athletic. He used to come on when I was working at a 500-watt radio station right out of college in 920 The Jersey. Like, Dan seems like he's a nice guy, and it's just a football opinion. I was ready to get on the air today for all you folks that listen to me and go, oh, the New Yorker hates Miami sports, when I told you that the Miami Hurricanes are winning the national championship this year, when I told you the Florida Panthers are the best organization in hockey right now. And yesterday, I say the Heat are the third best team in the Eastern Conference. And you would have thought I would have slapped somebody's abuela in the face by the response that I got from some of the listening audience. But I was ready to go after Dan Duggan today. I was ready to bring him on the show, and we were going to mother bleep Dan Duggan today. But then I said, before I freak out about the tweet, before I lose my mind, before I say, okay, Solana, let's stop going after one another. Let's team up together and beat the snot out of this tweet and this reporter, Dan Duggan. I said, let me do a deep dive on the Dolphins schedule. And the guy, I knew what the Dolphins schedule was. But usually when you're a bad team, there's other bad teams on the schedule where you say to yourself, hey, Zach, like, okay, this Dolphins team, they're viewed as an easy team by another team, like our fan base or the Dolphins fan base could be viewing the other team as easy. Like that does work. And that week 1 game up against the Raiders, that's a game that could go either way. Where the Raiders are saying, hey, that's a win for us. The Dolphins are saying, hey, that's a win for us as well. After that, though, it's going to be ugly. At San Francisco, Kansas City, at Minnesota, the Bengals, then a bye week. Okay, you're at the Jets. That's another possible win. Raiders and the Jets. New England, no. Lions, no. At the Colts, probably not. At the Bills, probably not. The Jets, I think they'll beat them one time. At Denver, no. Chicago, no. At Green Bay, no. Chargers, no. Bills, no. Patriots, no. Now, I get it. Through the course of every NFL season, there's a crazy upset that nobody sees coming. Like a few years ago, the Patriots beat the Bengals to open up the season. Last year, I know the Panthers ended up going to the playoffs, but when the Panthers, I think, waltzed into Lambeau Field, no one thought that the Green Bay Packers were going to lose to the Carolina Panthers, and they did. I look at that schedule, though, Solana, and the only realistic victories I could see is maybe one up against the Jets and the Raiders. So as quickly as I wanted to berate Dan Duggan today, because I just think that's a jackassery tweet, and it's like so unnecessary to just be punching down at the Miami Dolphins. Like 0-17 is on the table here. It is.
It is. It is. And Gelb, like, there's a reason why the Dolphins are underdogs in the lines prior to the season starting in 16 of their 17 games this year. And you're 1,000% right. You look at this schedule and you say, wow, if they don't get the Raiders week 1, they could very easily, by the time they have their bye week in week 6, they could be sitting at 0-5. Like, that's a legitimate possibility for this Dolphins team. Here's the thing, though, Gelb, we've talked about this a ton on this show. And I understand anybody around the NFL who's looking at the Miami Dolphins schedule, who's looking at the Dolphins roster, and just understanding where they started the season from, which is $150 million of dead money that they had to figure out, and saying, yeah, this team's not winning more than a game. This team's not winning a game. This team's not winning 2-3 games because they're not supposed to be a good football team. I understand that, though, Gelb. However, we've done this deep dive. You know how many teams have only won a single game in an NFL season over the past decade?
So 0 doesn't count. You're just looking for 1.
Well, no, I mean, even 0. The 0 hasn't happened since Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland. Detroit had a 0-win season.
Detroit and Cleveland over the
Dolphins,
past 20 years.
they had a 1-win season, right?
1-15 in 2008. The last 1-win team, you have to go back almost a decade to, I think it was the Arizona Cardinals who did it almost a decade ago. The point is, Gelb, there are bad football teams every single year.
Yeah.
Really bad football teams. I mean, damn, the New York Jets last year did something that hasn't been done in over 100 years.
0
and that's
interceptions.
Not intercept a team one time. And they still won, 4 games a season ago? The idea in the NFL where parity is so important and weird things happen in this league, especially in division games, that the Dolphins are going to go 0-17. I just don't buy it. They're not a good team. They're not going to compete for a playoff spot. Like, that's fair. I also don't think they're going to go 0-17 or 1-16. I'm just not buying it with this team.
So you said they were underdogs in 16 out of 18 of the games this year?
16 out of their 17 games.
Oh, 16 out of 17. That's right, because you have
We're
17 games in the bye week. Yeah.
We're not at 18 yet, Gelb. We'll be there. We'll be there.
So the one that they're a favorite is when they're probably home up against the Jets.
Correct. The only game that they are preseason favorites in is Sunday, November 29th. That's a 1 o'clock game, week 12, hosting the New York Football Jets.
And quite frankly, like, I look at the schedule, I say they should get one up against the Jets, and maybe they get the Raiders game. But the Raiders have more talent. I know Genti's dealing with a bit of an injury, but you got Genti, you got Bowers, you got Fernando Mendoza. Not going to start week 1. It's going to be Kirk Cousins. So they have some talented pieces there. The Jets, they have some talent with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, and they just drafted Omar Cooper and Kenyon Sadiq. On the defensive side of the ball, they have David Bailey, 2nd overall. So really what I'm saying here is the Dolphins will have an opportunity in 3 games to get a victory, where you could like realistically say, okay, they could go get a victory just as easy as they can, the other team can. And that's with the Raiders and that's with the Dolphins. The only other way they're going to get another victory on their schedule is just another team just sleepwalks into the game. And that happens in the NFL from time to time.
But it's not even sleepwalk because, Gelb, when you're going through this exercise, you're saying no against the Niners, no against the Chiefs, no against the Vikings, no against the Bengals. Like, I think that's fair because on paper, those teams are significantly better.
Burrow
right?
could get hurt, and then who knows what happens.
Right, but what if I tell you week 4 at Minnesota, Dolphins go in there 0-3, and Kyler Murray's hurt. And all of a sudden, J.J. McCarthy's starting. That Vikings team has zero confidence in J.J. McCarthy. Nobody likes him in Minnesota. Is it absolutely impossible for you to see a scenario where the Miami Dolphins go on the road, as bad as they are, even at 0-3, and beat J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, who aren't going to be able to move the football? I don't think it's impossible. And even this, Gelb, you're a New England Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Patriots and the Bills are clearly the 2 best teams in this division.
But the Dolphins could pick off the Bills. It happens every so often. The Patriots, when they were in their heyday, they would go to Miami and they would lose all the time. It happens.
They would lose all the time. In division games are always weird. I remember a game where New England beat Buffalo by throwing the ball 4 times. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I had COVID. And that was during the Mac Jones era where they went to the playoffs. And I had COVID, and that's like when you had to isolate and do the whole quarantine. It was very early on, and I remember watching on my couch in this apartment that I'm in right now, watching the Patriots not throw the football in the second half and run their way to a victory.
They threw it, I think it was 4 times all game, once
crazy
in
win.
The second half, and it was a throwaway, and they won the game, 13-10 against the Bills in snowy weather. I'm not telling you the Dolphins are going to do that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I saw this team, Gelb, in 2019 win 5 games. Mm-hmm. That team, go back and look at the starting lineup for the past 6
Yeah, they were brutal.
Final 6 weeks. I think Nick Needham was the best player on the Dolphins roster going into the final couple weeks. That team won 5 games. This team's not going 0-17.
I don't think they are, but the over-under's 4.5. I think that is an easy under. Like, I don't see this team winning more than 4 games. Like, I kind of look at them at 2 wins or 3 wins, and maybe Halfley picks off a team that you're not expecting him to do so, and they ride that wave for a week or 2. But if this team gets the 5 wins, you may as well go to the elbow room and enjoy yourself, because that would be basically being like winning the Super Bowl. Alrighty, let's quickly get to headlines with Solana, because I know we got to get to Ira Winderman at 2:25.
Yeah, headlines. They're brought to you by Doral Hyundai in Miami. We go to the beach for a little solcito. And when we want a low price, you save with your Pricito. Save now with your Pricito at Doral Hyundai. I don't know how much you follow baseball. We've been keeping an eye on things here with the Marlins, Gelb. But yesterday, the Marlins, another excruciating loss where they find their way into extras. Nice little run at the end. And then the Red Sox, Jarren Duran, hits a grand slam in the top of the 11th. Jarren Duran, grand slam in the top of the 11th for the Red Sox, and the Marlins are going to end up losing another series.
Now, remember, to get into the 11th, we struck out, and the game was over, but they didn't catch strike 3. So Javier Sanoja advanced, so we scored a run. So he felt like, oh, we got momentum. No, they hit a grand slam.
Yeah.
Remember they had the best month ever?
Yeah.
Seems like 4 seasons ago, if I'm just being honest.
But the Red Sox have had the best 2 months ever, because they went from 14 games below 500 to
firing everybody.
14 games above 500 in just 62 days. Took them 2 months. That's it.
Whoa.
Oh.
Solana's basically doing a keg stand right now with this camera that just flipped upside down.
Hey, and you're good, right? No, I just being transparent, we've been having some technical issues. Everybody knows about it. You're good, no echo, right, throughout the entire show?
I haven't had any echo yet.
All right. How about that, man? Shout out engineering.
Yeah, no, great job to the engineering staff. I wouldn't be doing a celebration like Deshaun Jackson before you get into the end zone, because next segment when I come back with an echo, Solana, you got to get it. You mush.
Very, very possible that's going to happen. Gelb, the other big story here, speaking of the Miami Dolphins, Tua will start on Friday for the Falcons in Miami. So Tua will have his return game. Michael Penix will not play, by the way.
I've never been looking more forward to a preseason game than this.
Right.
I hate the preseason, but let's see Tua turn the ball over coming up in this game up against the Miami Dolphins. Oh my God, that actually is a preseason game, the only one on the docket this year that I'm actually looking forward to because you got Tua going up against the Fish. Too bad McDaniel still isn't here. It takes a little bit of the juice away though.
Ruben Bain is dealing with a shoulder injury, but is expected to be ready week 1 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. People all of a sudden are very high on the Buccaneers. It went from Baker Mayfield
To do what?
and Vita Vea are out on the team. That's a dumpster fire to over the past week, people talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like a legitimate NFC contender.
No, the version of being a contender in the NFC South is just winning the division. That division after you win the NFC South, that you can't expect anything out of them.
You had mentioned Carolina getting to the playoffs. They did it going 8-9 last year.
They didn't win their way in. They lost their way in, and because of the tiebreakers, they got in.
Marlins do play tonight, ladies and gentlemen, again against the Red Sox, 6:40 p.m. Your weather in South Florida right now, 92 degrees. Hot as hell, as always, in the summer months. That weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Beat the storm. Schedule your free roof and window estimate today. Call 954-968-8155.
Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Crowder will join us along the way at some point today before we do say goodbye at 6. Ira Winderman coming up at 2:25, so at about 5 minutes or so from now. And Mike Westhoff will join us at 3:25. We're coming on back with Ira to get his reaction to the Klay Thompson press conference from yesterday.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Alrighty, welcome back in. It is Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Zach Gelb in for Hawk on this Wednesday. Let's go out to the guest line right now. Welcome in Ira Winderman, who was all over the Klay Thompson press conference. Ira, obviously, longtime Heat reporter for the Sun Sentinel. And Ira joins us on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com. Ira Winderman, how are you?
I am doing good. It's funny how Pat Riley says every day 1% better. It seems like with the Heat, every day one player better. So, yeah, yesterday, Zach, was a big day for the Heat. It sort of strengthened at an area of need. So another step forward this offseason.
Yeah, with all the moves and the total transformation of the roster this offseason, now knowing the main pieces of it and most of the work being done, this Miami Heat team is what to you?
It's really interesting. I did another podcast earlier today, and I said I could see the Heat finishing as high as maybe number 3 in the East. I could see the Heat finishing as low as maybe 8 or 9. We don't know about the East. I mean, the parity in the East is such that you're going to see first-round playoff series. You know how in the recent years we see the West, and you go, wow, Denver, Minnesota in the first round. Like, how can it be that good that early? That's what's going to be the case in the East this season. You're going to see first-round matchups that in other East years could have been conference finals. So I just don't know. I need to see how it coalesces, to use, as Solana knows, Jimmy Butler's favorite word, and then sort of go from there. But, you know, right now the Heat have a chance of being very, very good in the East. The Heat also have a chance of being very, very much a question mark in the East. It's going to be interesting. I'll give you an example. Heat go to Boston on Christmas. They could be 1-2 at the East at that time. One of the teams could have a losing record at that time. That's how much, Zach, there is unknown in the Eastern Conference right now.
But Ira, to be fair, and I'm with you, by the way, this is the deepest East, we've been saying it all week, of my lifetime. But with that being said, I'm not buying too much into where the Heat are in the regular season in terms of seeding. I think the Knicks last year is a 3-seed, proved you don't have to win the East to go win the title. The Heat cannot be in the play-in tournament this year, Ira, right? Like, that, to me, would be the only actual, quote-unquote, failure of year one of Giannis Antetokounmpo if you're back into the play-in tournament.
Well, Solana, what if the Heat win 48 games or in the play-in tournament? In other words, the Heat, I think, between 3 and 8 or 9, you might have a 4-game spread. I mean, this might be, Solana, you know the way the schedule is made. The last day of the season, every East team plays at the same time. This could be like that final NFL Sunday where you don't know the playoff matchups until the final games of the season are over. I think it's going to be that competitive and that close. So it's like the Heat might wind up with their best play-in record ever. And there might be a jump for them in the standings, but there's so many good teams in the East. And I think it's going to be so close that right now I can easily rattle off a list of 6 teams in the East that are better. And you would at least stop and pause if I were to go say New York, Detroit, Boston, of course, Philadelphia. You can look at Indiana with Halliburton and what they have. If Kawhi goes to Toronto, and I haven't even mentioned some of the other presumptive favorites in the East. So, yeah, it's going to be competitive. It's going to be good. It's going to be like no other year. And the flip side of that is there's going to be almost no easy ones, except for the crap show in Brooklyn, where they're trying to, for some reason, put together Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle. How the hell is that going to work out? Everyone in the East is playing for something. The anti-tanking rules come into effect now. It used to be the opposite. Now you're going to look to go west to get a few extra W's on your record because the games in the East are going to be so competitive. I would put it this way, Solana. I believe there is no doubt the Heat will be better than they were last season or the last 2 seasons. But when you're coming to a place in the standings, I think nothing is guaranteed just because the East is that good.
How do you think Ira Winderman is here with us? They'll approach the regular season because we've seen all these different approaches through the years. You look at Kawhi with the load management, and they ended up winning a title in Toronto. I get it's Heat culture, but when you got a guy like Giannis who's had some injury problems, you get a guy like Klay Thompson who's not 26-year-old Klay Thompson anymore. How do you think they maybe go about this in the regular season with it being so close?
It's interesting because Solana don't know this. There's been so much talk about the Heat's lack of depth. And yet I think their depth is going to have to carry them. That they got guys like Bobby Portis and Pelle Larsson and Tim Hardaway Jr. and maybe even hopefully like Nikola Jovic and Drew Smith off the bench. They're going to have to sort of rely on that. You know, there was questions of whether Klay will start or not. He fits too well not to start. You want to protect a negative defender. You put him around Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins, and Davion Mitchell. Arguably, Klay Thompson has never had better protection in his career with a lineup like that, so that makes sense. But you also don't overextend the minutes. The flip side is this. Giannis Antetokounmpo could not extend until January 6th, 6 months from when he was acquired. If ever a player wants to make an opening statement to show that at his age, at 32, he deserves max money at max years, I think Giannis is going to come out of the blocks after being really put in dry dock by the Bucks at the end of last season by Doc Rivers and John Horst and want to show who he is. I think it plays out this way. Giannis carries them through the first months of the season. Eric Spoelstra, just like in the Big Three era, figures it out, and then you go to the playoffs, which leads to the real elephant in the room. We know they've addressed their three-point shooting. Eric Spoelstra, Solana was there, knows what Solana was, saw the press conference, knows that this team is going to have three-point shooting with Portis, with Hardaway, with Klay. What we don't know is if the Heat's going to have a closer. That's what the playoffs are all about. Those craptastic Heat years, Jimmy Butler to the rescue. So my question is, and I'll throw it both of you guys, 4 seconds left, Heat out of timeouts, inbounding from the baseline. Who gets the ball? Who takes the shot? Do you want Giannis stepping into a jumper? Do you really want handling full court? Do you want what we got from Davion Mitchell at the end of last season when a shot gets blocked by Bridges and the season ends? That's my question. That's why DeMar DeRozan made some sense, but I'll throw it to both of you guys. 4 seconds left, Heat down by 2, inbounding on their baseline. Who's your guy?
I think Giannis gets the ball, tries to drive. If not, they kick it to Klay for 3.
You got 4 seconds left, so you're going full court.
So
you're including a pass.
Klay.
Yes.
Klay.
Right. So, okay, so then you're trusting Klay's ball handling to perhaps initiate from the backcourt. What I'm saying is there's not a cold-blooded MFer, give me the ball, get out of my way. DeRozan will get to his 17-foot jumper like Jimmy Butler did and get to his spot. That's what they're lacking. Did DeMar DeRozan fit this rotation or roster? No. But come playoff time, I believe player X, who's not on this team yet, on the buyout market, will be the guy. I think a Zach LaVine, if the Kings turn into the Kings, which should take about, 3 weeks? All of a sudden they might realize we're going to play our youth
You're being
instead
generous.
and go in that direction. Maybe 2 weeks and go in that direction. So I think that's still, we're talking about Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, and Andy Ellisberg and their to-do list. There's a reason that they talk Klay down to enough money to add as many as 3 players, to hold 1 contract in abeyance for someone who comes along to give them that veteran minimum.
So you talked about Klay starting. I thought that was a big point going into the press conference. Would he start? Clearly, he's fine taking less, coming here, all that stuff. Is it maybe a mistake to start him? Because I made the point on Friday, you need Klay in the postseason. I get it. Tim Hardaway Jr. just had this great season off the bench where he's in the running for 6th man of the year. But I'd rather start Tim and then meticulously manage those minutes of Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I just think that because of the defensive reasons I gave you, he worked better. I think Tim can be a little more of a creator. So when Giannis is out, or maybe even Davion is out, Tim can give you a little bit more. Look, I'm not on a creator scale of 1 to 10, Tim's a 5. No offense, Klay Thompson, he's a 3 at this stage of his career. There are certain players Klay's famous for. We know this. When he scored all those points, the dribbles per points was like an all-time record. Don't dribble the ball. If Klay Thompson goes through the season without dribbling once, it's been a great season. So I think in the starting role, with the kickouts from Bam and Giannis, he's better off. I think Tim can put the ball on the floor a little and give them a little bit more and work in that second unit. That's the question I wanted to ask at the press conference. I got 2 questions in, which is probably one more than any other single person. I had my hand up. They said basically they're cutting it off. So I got to hear wonderful stories about his father's high school team. Didn't get to ask that, but yes, that's going to be a question. The one thing we know is Eric Spoelstra will massage where he needs to massage, but Klay, except for last year, has always been a starter. Tim Hardaway, for at least half his career, has come off the bench, and last year was number 3 in 6th Man of the Year award voting, so he's comfortable there. Spo smart enough to keep people in their comfort zone. He's also been very good at keeping minutes reasonable even when starting. I'm not saying Solana will know this, maybe a little more. He's been down here. It's the Luke Babbitt role where he just plays the first 6 minutes of each half, but I think Spo will know how to manage that, and then he'll get to the end of the game. And honestly, when it comes to hot hand, might be Klay at the end, could be Tim Hardaway at the end, could be Simone Fontecchio at the end. Whoever's making the threes plays, whoever isn't, hey, there's 82 games, the next 81 you can decide.
There's also a guy that scored 83 points that none of us have mentioned yet that I think at the very least deserves a nod. And Ira, Bam has hit the game winner before in the past. But with all that being said, because I'm with you about the questions closing games, Ira, it's a legitimate concern. Is this still not the best starting five? If it ends up being Davion, Clay, Wiggs, Bam, and Giannis, is this still not the best starting five that Eric Spoelstra has had since the Big Three?
Since the Big Three is the qualifier there. And there were the years there where, you had Bosh and Dragic briefly, and then you had Dragic and Jimmy Butler. So you had that kind of all-star level talent. But you know what? This is the best lineup for this reason. Eric Spoelstra, we know, lives and dies defense, has made clear this team's going to win that way. He has 4+ defenders. If any of these players make all defensive team, no one's surprised, including off-night Davion Mitchell, including Andrew Wiggins was last year's de facto perimeter stopper. So Eric Spoelstra has what he wants. Again, Heat Nation, might the Heat win a couple of games 86-83? No, not after 3 quarters final score. Yeah, that's Eric Spoelstra's dream night when you don't need the third digit on the scoreboard. So I would put it this way. Solana. I think he will be as comfortable with this starting lineup as he's been with any starting lineup since the Big Three.
Wrap it up with Ira Winderman for Spo's legacy, because the 2 championships he won were with the Big Three as a head coach. What would this next championship, if they're able to get one, do to the way that maybe people nationally look like Eric Spoelstra?
You know what, Zach, we don't know each other that much, so I'll just sort of go back to what I've said over the years. Eric Spoelstra doesn't need to do another goddamn thing in his career to prove that he is an absolute elite coach. You do not get named to the pantheon of USA basketball coaches, Mike Krzyzewski, Steve Kerr, the people who Greg Popovich. That right, your legacy's done right there. I know people are saying he hasn't done it since the Big Three. He got that 2023 team that was pretty, what's the exact wording? Oh, yeah, god-awful, to the NBA Finals against the Denver Nuggets. We always talk about Phil Jackson and saying, well, sure, he got to all those finals and championships. Look who he had. You simply win with talent. Eric's been the opposite. He's had almost nothing at times. I mean, Solana, that year that they finished 41-41, all of a sudden they're 11-30. It's midseason. You got James Johnson, you got Dion Waiters, you got Wayne Ellington. You don't know what the hell's going on. And all of a sudden you have Willie Reed crying the final day of the season because Dwayne Wade in Chicago beat you out for the final playoff berth. I know it's great sports talk radio stuff about legacy. But if anyone is doubting Eric Spoelstra's legacy at this point, then they are way the hell too late to the debate. That is over. Eric Spoelstra has his place, whether it's, Mount Rushmores of South Florida, great coaches up there with Don Shula, whether it's Hall of Fame. I mean, go to Basketball Reference. What's his probability now? Like 99%. So, yeah. But the thing about him is this. He loves doing this. I mean, you saw him at the press conference. I mean, when Eric Spoelstra, you could see that gleam in his eyes when he knows he can do something special. What the Heat have done for Spoelstra is given him all these different challenges. Okay, Big Three, can you do it? Michael Beasley's rookie year. Hey, good luck with that one, buddy. Jimmy Butler alienating the world, but still get to the finals with him. Chris Bosh going out with the blood clots. So I don't see how anything bad can happen to tarnish that. Can he further enhance it? Yes. Does it need enhancement? I don't think so.
And to your point, Ira, I hear this a lot from people who either follow the Heat or even some who cover the Heat. At some point, Eric Spoelstra will do what Brad Stevens did. He'll take over for Pat Riley in the front office, and then he'll find a successor on the sidelines. Do you get that vibe? Because anytime I talk with Spo, the way he lights up talking about coaching, like he's a sicko to be on the sidelines. He loves that. I say that as a compliment. He wants to be on the sidelines. I'm not so sure that he has like these visions of running the front office the way a lot of people just assume he will.
Well, he sort of does. He has player, involvement in there in his deal with the Heat. So he's very much part of it with the Arisons and Riley and Andy Ellisberg and Adam Simon. So he sort of has that already. Usually we get to this debate of whether you should switch coaches because it's getting old and tired. The Heat have done the opposite. They've constantly changed the roster. There are times, I think we'd all agree, when we said it's almost, almost at the end of the Big Three era, to be honest with you, when Ray Allen was rebelling a little and it got a little ugly with James Jones, he said something had to change. Yeah, LeBron left, everything changed. Eric Spoelstra's had so many different rosters that look at the 2020 NBA Finals when they made it there. You got Bam as the last man standing. 2023, unless you count Jovic, who barely played there, you're talking about Bam. I think Drew Smith might have been there because he's always there. He's like the neighbor who's always there. He might have been there, but this roster has been so completely remade, it doesn't get stale. It gets stale when you have the same players and you have the same coach, and Phil Jackson all of a sudden is getting very personal with management, and you get in those situations. Eric Spoelstra's not tired because he has a brand new challenge now. He's made it work with wings. He's made it work with defensive players. Now can you make it with two big men as your leading men, which rarely has been done in today's NBA, and especially with Spo as a coach. You know the Solana, everyone says how much he loves small ball. Well, this ain't going to be no small ball. So It's going to be a different incarnation of Eric Spoelstra. Bring that man a challenge. He will seize the moment. Let it get stale. That's when we'll be talking about another job.
He's Ira Winderman. By the way, Ira, I was shocked to hear that you only had 2 questions in the press conference yesterday. I got on the air yesterday, and I thought you had a one-on-one. It seemed like you were dominating that press conference.
Just 2. I'm like the guy they cut off at the bar. They know that I'm a light drinker, and it's only that much. Solana knows. You sort of raise your finger a little to find Nick,
Yep.
Nick Myrana or Maddox. Like, I got one more, and he was like, no. I do give the Heat credit because Clay was so good that 18 to 20-minute pressure could have gone 45 minutes with his candor and just to get an eventual Hall of Famer up there also. So I understand it. But I promise I will be nagging Clay the entire season, nagging Solana, and whenever Zach is here, I'll bother you also. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I kind of like you, Ira. Here's the thing. When Solana's not there at the press conference yesterday, are the other media members looking around saying, that's Solana. He's not really as dedicated as we are?
No, he still has. Actually, they have a mannequin there. They have a Solana mannequin with a big Uruguay jersey, so we don't even know the difference. So yeah, he's always there in spirit. We know that.
He's Ira Winderman for the Sun Sentinel. Ira, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. Tell Channing to show up for work every now and then. Thanks, guys.
Would be nice. Maybe Ira Winderman could be the new program director of 104.3 FM WQAM with Len retiring at the end of the month. Great stuff with Ira. We'll take a time out. When we come on back, I want to react to a ranking that I saw, and I think the Canes are getting a little disrespected heading into the season. We'll talk about that next.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Alrighty, welcome back in. It is Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Gelbin for Hawk. Good stuff right there with Ira Winderman. And Mike Westhoff going to join us coming up at 3:25 today. A week ago, Solana, the AP Top 25 poll came out, and the AP Top 25 poll has turned into a snooze fest, specifically when that gal last year, when it was USF playing Florida, and USF beat Florida, and she moved Florida up 2 spots and didn't even have USF in the top 25. So that's when I stopped giving a damn about the top 25 poll. But then also, it's just like with the college football playoff rankings, that's the only thing that matters. But for the Canes to be 7th in the AP poll, I think is a slap in the face. Like, Ohio State shouldn't be 1. I think Oregon's the best team in the country on paper. I think Miami's better than Georgia. I think Miami's better than Notre Dame. I think Miami is just as good, if not better, than Texas and Indiana. I'm surprised the Canes, bare minimum, aren't in the top 5. And every team in the top 7 besides Texas and Georgia got at least one number 1 vote. Miami got 1. I think the Canes going into the season are the second best team in college football.
Hey,
hello,
fellas.
Channing. How are you? I thought I saw someone shimmying in the corner of my eye, by the way.
Hey, yeah, man. Sorry, fellas. I was working my other jobs, other jobs.
What were you doing?
I was interviewing some humans.
You can't tell us who yet, I'm assuming?
I actually, Solana and them know. I would come on this show, like, I'd come late, or, they know I'm in Dallas. They're like,
I was at
we
Steve
interviewing.
Harvey's house.
And I would say who I'm interviewing. I'm like, all it's going to do is like amp up the views if somebody wants to see it. People started trying to undercut the pivot to get the person on their show before we got them on.
Really?
Craziest thing in the world. Yep.
Wait, so they would come to QAM. They'd say, okay, Channing interviewed Marcus Freeman today. And then, like, Brandon Marshall, or one of those other losers, would sorry to do that, would then go try to interview Marcus Freeman. Like, how long, after you guys air an episode, how long does it take to turn it around?
We can turn it around overnight, but sometimes we have to stockpile them. People are traveling or working.
Yeah,
so
stack them up.
And then if think about it.
Well, RC's got free time right now. You get those interviews out whenever you can now.
If John Doe already has, who have we already done? I don't know, Floyd Mayweather. If he has a Floyd Mayweather interview in the can, and I come on and say, oh, we just did Floyd today, then he'll release Floyd as fast as he can because he knows that it will take views away from us because it's like oversaturating the market. I'm learning all this.
Yeah, but here's what I'll always say, because I've had many times where there's these car wash tours. Like when I was at CBS Sports Radio, we had Magic Johnson on. 3 other shows on our own network also had Magic Johnson on. We were the one that made headlines. So if you do the good content and if you ask the good questions and if you get the emotion out of the guests like you guys do on The Pivot, I don't care if Joe Schmo also had Floyd Mayweather on. F him. You guys will have a better interview.
We turned down car wash tours because we've seen it with Gelby. I tell you, 4 years.
You guys think
in
too
now,
much.
4 years in it now, you can see it with the analytics that if they've done an interview within 2 weeks before yours, the numbers go down. Even if your interview's better, because the people see the clips and they think it's the same interview.
Because everything gets truncated into 45 seconds.
Yes.
Not only that, but I understand it because let's just say, one pod had Floyd Mayweather on, and I watched the entire interview on Floyd, even though I wouldn't watch an interview with Floyd Mayweather personally. That's just me. But let's just say they did.
Yeah, that guy's a real sleazebag, by the way.
Even if
my friend,
even if the interview was great, I wouldn't watch another long form interview with Floyd Mayweather. Even if I love The Pivot. Like I watch The Pivot regularly. I just wouldn't watch it because I just watched it. I'd look for the clips to see if he said anything new or interesting, but that's not driving numbers up for The Pivot.
Gelby, I love your confidence in your interviewing skills. You can't beat analytics, Gelby. I have 4 years of information.
I don't know. My interview with Magic Johnson did 1.5 million views on social media, and 18 other shows had him. I actually asked a question though that got a reaction out of him. I didn't want to do the interview with Magic Johnson because I thought it was going to be boring. Just because Magic, you see how he tweets; it's the most simplistic things, and I just hit a nerve with him, and he gave me a great response, and the thing went viral. I will say though, and I know we got to get to a break. When we get to this whole conversation about interviews and all that stuff, like how many times are people getting the same guests as you guys? Does it happen often?
all the time.
Oh, really? So it's that similar.
Yeah, but it like we strategically do it. But when you know, it's not a car wash. But yeah, you go on Michael Beasley, the thing that blew us up. You know, the whole thing with him crying and everything, and he's done 17 interviews after that. Floyd does interviews. Who else? The Rock does interviews. Everybody, you know, Barack Obama doesn't do interviews.
You guys got Barack?
Yeah.
Sorry, President Barack Obama. You got him.
There you go. Well, you know, I call him Barry. I call him Barry because he's my boy. But you call
Barry,
him, you show him some respect. My boy Barry jumped on with us for an hour.
It's like that Key and Peele skit. You know, Crowder's dapping him up. He's giving me a nice firm handshake. Nice to meet you, Mr. Gelb.
I just did it. I just did that 15 minutes ago with our sound guy's white, our camera guy's black. I hugged them. Sound guy, we have a good handshake, and I get out of there.
You racist. That's all I'll say.
No. I think it's from his side. You know, I'm a hugger. You know, I'm a hugger. I think it's from his side. He puts the hand real far out.
Yes or no? The Canes being ranked 7th by the AP poll, is that disrespectful?
I think so. I think, you know what? I heard you talk when I jumped on. I think the mystery of how they're going to replace all those first round picks and great players, I think that's why they dropped. But I think it's disrespectful to Mario for them not thinking he reloaded the cabinet.
Yeah, and I know they lost Bain and Mesidor, but they have Darian Mensah, better quarterback than Beck last year. You still have Mark Fletcher. You have Malachi Toney, who's here. I keep on wanting to call Kadarius Toney like each and every time I do this show this week. And then they brought in that kid Cooper Barkate. Like, I get it. Mawanoa's no longer there on the offensive line, but that's the bread and butter. That's the filet mignon of Mario Cristobal's coaching career. I would be really, really disappointed if this team going into the playoff, like, I think they're going to have a bye. I think they're winning the ACC. I think they're going to have a bye.
Yeah, my only pushback to that comment would be that Ruben Bain won about 3 games last year.
Yeah, and I know now you're a homer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. People get very annoyed with you on social media with the Bucks.
What's that?
People get very annoyed when you wear that Bucks hat.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about them people.
All righty, we'll take a break. It's Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Ira Winterman was going after Channing for showing up late, by the way, in the last conversation.
I was listening when in the car. Damn, Ira, we've known each other for 25 years.
Yeah, he came for your throat. You must have not have dapped him up properly when you saw him at a Miami Heat game when you were sitting courtside. Mike Westhoff's going to join us at 3:25, but we'll break. We'll come on back. We'll do some headlines with Solana next.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
I am going to find out the gender of the next Solana baby.
You'll find out after the show today if you'll be an aunt or an uncle.
All righty, we're back. Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Zach Gelb in for Hawk. Mike Westhoff coming up at 3:25 today, so 25 minutes from now. We'll chat with him. We'll get to headlines coming up momentarily. But first, Game Day Uncensored is brought to you by Invitation to Lexus Summer Sales Event. Get offers on select models now through August 31st. Gentlemen, I know it's never too early for a mock draft, but I guess today all these draft analysts, they start to put out their first mock drafts of the year, and they all have their nuggets, because I saw it wasn't only just this guy, but Jordan Reed, who covers, the NFL draft for ESPN, he put out a mock draft, and I thought a few things were interesting from here. Picks 1 through 3 were all quarterbacks expected. But after that, he did not have another quarterback go in the first round, which was unexpected. Also, he had the Miami Dolphins having the number 1 overall pick. Not surprising. But then trading it back to 4, where Jeremiah Smith was taken by the Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns moved up to 1. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. But when I first saw this, I was on the elliptical, Solana. As you know, I love the elliptical. And I saw this trade and I go, okay, maybe Malik Willis, even though the team was the first overall pick, they want to see him for another year. Or they just go, John Eric Sullivan has the ear of the owner and Stephen Ross. Let me trade back, get a bunch of resources to set my franchise up for the future. And you get a player like Jeremiah Smith. But the return here was only getting the 4th pick back, pick 32, then a 2027 4 and a 2028 2. Like, that to me is not that much that makes me say, okay, I'm going to move back by 4, getting the 4th pick in the draft where you give up 1, then getting the 32nd overall pick because the Browns have the Rams, and then you get a 2027 4th and a 2028 second-round pick.
So it's moved from 1 to 4?
Yeah.
That's what it is. 3 spots back. And you can add another it's if you that's almost assuming they don't need a quarterback. If Malik Willis is okay, do you move back? Because Jeremiah Smith is better. He's better receiver than any quarterback coming out this year.
He's the best player in college football entering the season. However, what I would do is I would say, I don't want the 32nd overall pick. You guys keep that. Give me your first-round pick next year if you really want to move up to 1. That's what I would do.
If he can get that done, Gelby, that sounds great to me.
It's 305. Dale.
God bless.
Dale.
Thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
Well, yesterday, hold on. Am I not supposed to say thank you, Jimmy?
No, you
yesterday
are.
I say thank you, Solana. and Solana goes, oh, if you know the show, Gelb, you fill in enough, you're supposed to say thank you, Jimmy. Today I say thank you, Jimmy. Crickets. Are you effing kidding me?
That was a 24-hour get back. That's what that was.
That was a good bit by me, huh? That was a good bit.
You're not that intelligent.
That was
24 hours later.
If you were listening yesterday and today, that paid off very nicely. That was good.
Oh, my God.
You're welcome, Gelb. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. I really do appreciate it. But I don't know. I'm not moving off the first overall pick for only getting back 432, a second-round pick, and a 4th-round pick. I'm not doing it.
By the way, quickly, the 305 alarm is sponsored by Miami Lake Chevrolet, where you walk in as a customer and drive out as family.
Yeah, sorry. You got me all rattled there. I forgot that.
And if you can guarantee me Jeremiah Smith, I would do it. But there's no guarantee if you're at 4. Those other teams just don't see him and say, who would it be? Who's the 3? It has to be Arch Manning, Dante Moore.
Well, here was the order. And this is the other surprising part. It was Dante Moore 1. It was Arch Manning 2, CJ Carr 3. That's the other caveat I wanted to get here. They don't have Darian Mensah going in the first, maybe not the first 3 picks. You don't have Darian Mensah. You don't have Julian Sane. You don't have Drew Mestamaker. If Sam Levitt bounces back, maybe he ends up going in the first round. I think there's going to be 5 or 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. There is merit to me. Hey, the Dolphins trade back. You reset the farm. You get a bunch of picks for the future. You build this roster, then take the quarterback. Like, I could hear that argument. You get a guy like Jeremiah Smith. But the big headliners of the deal is you get the 4th pick back for moving up to 1, and then the next one is 32. I'm saying, guys, you got to punt that first-round pick the next year if you really want to move up from 4 to 1. That's not that much to move up.
What if you can get Sane or Mensah at 32?
Yeah, I guess, you know what, here you could. But in this mock draft, they didn't have him take a quarterback at 32.
Yeah. No.
The Dolphins, I've been thinking about this a lot. The Dolphins, they're going to take a quarterback in the first round next year, even if Malik Willis exceeds expectations this year. With the amount of guys that Gelb just listed off, I mean, you have to wonder, there's going to be a lot of quarterback talent coming out in this draft. Even if Malik Willis is really good, the Dolphins are still going to be looking at a franchise-changing quarterback, right? Aren't they? Especially with that much QB talent available.
And you know who they could also take? You could play the long-term game and trust that guy Brendan Sorsby, because he ain't going in the first round with all the gambling stuff and basically getting the year suspension by not getting thrown in that supplemental draft. He'll go in the second or third round.
Yeah, and if I find out if he can play and do the due diligence, but Malik Willis will have to go crazy. But the trade-off in that is, how is he going to go crazy? He's going to pitch the ball, throw the ball, hand the ball to Devon Achane. Like, Chris Bell's back. Okay, it's Caleb Douglas, but they're not taking a quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards.
So here's the question. You would be fine, Crowder. Draft day, April 2027. The Dolphins have the number 1 overall pick. The commissioner gets on the stage. He goes, we have a trade. The Dolphins move down to 4. Cleveland moves up to 1. They end up getting Jeremiah Smith, and then they take a quarterback later on in the draft, or maybe they wait another year. You would be fine because you think Smith, who's the best player in college football, is that transcendent of a player.
I mean, I think Smith, and if y'all think I'm crazy, I think Smith is on the Andre Johnson, not Randy Moss level, but like that Andre Johnson level. Like, Jeremiah Smith has Hall of Fame potential. He could have came out of high school. Like, he's crazy good. He's better at receiver than everybody else in the entire college football is at their position. I know quarterback is important, but if you can get a gem like that, you have to capitalize on it.
And it's an interesting throw out there by Jordan Reed, because you're getting future draft capital. Now, I don't think they got enough to move back by 4, and I actually think they get more in return, but it wouldn't be the worst strategy in the world. Like, you look at what the Jets are doing right now. They traded away some players. They had 3 first-round picks last year. They have 3 first-round picks this year, and they're building the team up before you take a quarterback. You take your quarterback when you could get your quarterback. I always say that. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, though, if they fall back a few spots and get Smith. But could you imagine them at 1? I wonder how that would play with the fan base. And they don't take Dante Moore. They don't take Arch Manning. They don't take CJ Carr. Yeah, you get Smith, but passing up on a quarterback, I wonder how that would play with this fan base.
I don't think it would play well. And I like Jeremiah Smith. And Crowder, I love the idea of having Jamar Chase on my team. Like, that's who I think Jeremiah Smith is. He's Jamar Chase. I love the idea. But if you don't have – I believe this strongly. If you don't have a legitimate dog at quarterback, a top 5 guy at quarterback, you're not contending year in, year out. I know Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl. And
that's what I was going to say.
I know that's the outlier. But are the Seahawks going to be able to replicate that year in, year out for the next decade?
Probably
no,
not.
Because at some point, they paid Darnold. Now they're going to have to pay the defense, the offensive line. They're going to have to pay the weapons. And then eventually you have to lean on your quarterback to carry you, and you're not going to be able to do it because he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson. Find the franchise-changing quarterback if you want to be good for a decade. If you want to be good for 1 year, then fine, draft Jeremiah Smith. But if not, take your flyer on that guy until you find him.
Now, what happens if they take, let's just say that this draft board holds. Now, I'm not going to say it holds to the point where there's not another quarterback going after the 3rd pick in the first round. I think that's just stupidity here by Reed. But let's say they then use that other first-round pick to move back up, and they get to like 16 or 17, and you get Darian Mensah and Jeremiah Smith.
That's the plan. That would be the plan. Get the best player in the nation, and then find a quarterback. And think about it, in a deep quarterback draft, you just named 7 of them. Mm-hmm. It's not like there's one top guy this year. There's 7 good quarterbacks that we think could play in this league. Get the best player in the world, and in his respective league, and then go find your quarterback. I trust Sully.
So you know what's going to happen? They're going to get Jeremiah Smith, and they're going to take like Lenoris Sellers at 17, and he'll be in and out of the league in 3 years.
Hey, he was good at, what was that, South Carolina?
2 years ago, yeah.
He looked good. He looked good, though.
Then he passed up on a 2-year NIL deal from $8 million from another program, stayed at South Carolina. They paid him not that much as he was going to make on the open market. And last year, that stock tanked. Absolutely tanked. All right, Mike Westhoff coming up at 3:25. Let's get to headlines with Alejandro Solana.
Headlines are brought to you by Doral Hyundai. In Miami, we go to the beach for a little solcito, and we want a low price. You save with your Pricito. Save now with your Pricito at Doral Hyundai. The Marlins are going to play again tonight, gentlemen. That'll be a 6:40 p.m. first pitch.
Why'd they get the abuelito out of that read? Was it just too wordy there? Did it didn't flow that much?
No, I just think it's a different.
It's a different dealer.
Different read, different dealer.
Different brand.
No, gotcha. Sorry, I just it flowed. The Pricito, Abuelito. That's just what I've been hearing.
Yeah, there's a couple itos. The Cafecito,
Solcito.
I was just wondering if they changed it every week.
Doesn't it mean just little?
Yes.
So like my little grandpa?
Like a little solcito, even though it doesn't really make sense to say a little solcito.
I thought pequeño was little.
It's total Spanglish.
Pequeño is small or tiny.
But if you had an ito on the end, like abuelo is grandpa.
Abuelito.
That's little grandpa?
Crowder. It's like Ebonics for Spanish.
Okay.
Solana?
Yeah, that works.
Chico pequeño.
That's what girls are always saying about Gelb. Pequeño.
Muy pequeño.
You know, Solana loves just talking about other men's junk. He does.
Yeah,
Makes me wonder why.
I really don't. The Marlins tonight, 6:40. Listen to it right here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Here's some Dolphins practice notes. Crowder, you missed it in the first hour, but Tua will start Friday. He'll be back here in Miami. Mm-hmm. And Michael Penix will not play for the Falcons.
Do you think Tua remembers that he's going to be starting coming up later in the week?
See, we had the CTE conversation yesterday, Gail.
Yeah, we were serious.
Don't do that.
I almost got Crowder to cry. You think Tua walks into the wrong locker room?
No, I wasn't about to cry. I actually did research.
Hey,
after
boys,
that
we're ready to
segment.
go with the Dolphins. We're getting set for the season, right?
They're going the wrong team.
How great would it be if Tua walks up to the podium after the game in Capri's? Oh, that would be awesome.
A couple other Dolphins notes. Jacob Rodriguez did not practice today, so we'll have to see what his status is for the preseason finale on Friday. Jordan Brooks was at practice, but he was limited. Zach Sealer and Kenneth Grant not practicing. But Crowder, to your point the other day, because I was a little bit cautious about Kenneth Grant being on a scooter, you said, hey, no big deal. Those are just the new crutches. He was amongst a group of players, according to the Sun Sentinel, that were working out on the side today. So he's back on his feet.
Yeah. Extra protection.
I don't know. Big guy like that, can the scooter really support him?
It's actually better. The crutches, what is he, 370? 360?
Yeah, a lot of weight to move around there.
With some rubber jammed in his underarms, man, his arm would go numb.
Yeah, like what do they say? When you're taller, it's like tougher to bench press because there's more that like you're pushing up, right?
Further away, he's putting a lot of pressure on those crutches.
Yeah.
By the way, you talked about Rodriguez. Everyone's calling him Mini Zach Thomas. Mike Westhoff is going to join us coming up in a bit. Is very close with Zach Thomas. You know, I just tried to book someone today that was closer with Zach Thomas than Channing to try to get back at him.
I don't know. We might have a Zach Thomas off.
That's why I'm going to bring you two guys on. Bull in the ring. Mike Westhoff and Channing Crowder. Just don't abuse your elders. All right, Crowder?
I got you.
By the way, the Dolphins did add a running back, Coleman Bennett, an undrafted rookie who spent time with the Bears this summer. That's according to the Miami Herald. Finally, gentlemen, you see this, the U.S. Open. Gelb, I know, are you big into tennis? I mean, you're up in New York. You ever go to the U.S. Open?
I was asked to go tonight. I politely declined. Just too early. I had too many things going on tonight, but I've been a bunch of years. I have a few mugs, from the Honeydeuces.
Yeah, the Honeydeuces. That's right. Crowder, I know you've been to the U.S. Open.
I saw Alcaraz one year. He was great. Federer, Serena growing up, Nadal, Agassi. Like, I used to go all the time.
Nice.
I'll take souvenir cups.
What? You get a little honey deuce and you take the cup home? See, like, that's because you're a bougie bastard.
It's garbage, though. You're toting around garbage.
No, you're not.
I'm a regular person. I relate to the regular person. People hear you and they go, oh, this guy's a bougie rich snob.
Okay. Name another place you finish your drink and say, I'm taking this one in my pocket.
Flanagan's. Every single home in South Florida. Every single home in South Florida has a green Flanagan's cup. And if you really know ball, you've got the pink Flanagan's cup for Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. You know what I'm talking about, Dan Day. And Crowder, if I find out that you don't have a Flanagan's cup in your home, I'm kicking your ass out of Davie. That's what's going to happen, bro.
I was just going to tell you, checkmate. You checkmate me because I have Flanagan's cup. So never mind. I had no argument.
Who takes a mug? Who takes a cup? 5 seconds later, with the SpongeBob background color, Channing Crowder.
Who can drink that much juice in one sitting? It's just too much juice. I had to take one.
You know what, Solana? I have never been more proud of you than in that moment. I think today, Solana and I are working together against just the crap that Channing is just trying to, put upon us on the airwaves.
I was really hoping Crowder would double down there just because I knew I had him. Like, I knew I had him there. But, they'll love this even more because the real reason I bring up the U.S. Open, you guys know I'm a huge tennis fan, but this is really cool. Venus and Serena Williams have received a wild card into the 2026 U.S. Women's Open doubles field, which means Channing Crowder will have no idea which one is which again for another year. This, of course, is audio of Channing Crowder introducing Serena Williams.
We got Venus Williams here. Venus, what's up? Hawk loves my first question.
Wait, you were interviewing one of them?
Serena.
It was Serena.
Where?
Long story short, I was with Adam Cooperstein. He was up in New York.
Yeah. Coop. He used to do middays here in QAM.
So it was the Coop and Crowder show. I thought
it was Chuck and Coop, right?
No, it was Coop and Goldie.
Oh, Coop and Goldie, yeah.
Goldie. Anyway, NBC, CBS. I don't know what it is because I get hit in the head a lot. But Goldie couldn't work for us anymore. They asked me to fill in for Goldie till they found a replacement. And then they were like, hey, you and Coop are kind of good. That was my first full-time job at QAM was with Coop. But Coop lived on Miami Beach. He got caught, a bridge, Solana? He got caught behind one of the bridges.
Yeah, this tournament was at the time, the NASDAQ, but it was in Key Biscayne and Crandon Park. There's one way in, one way out. That's it. And he got caught in traffic.
Clay Thompson traffic.
Crowder's supposed to interview Serena Williams.
We are supposed to interview her. Coop booked it. I'm sitting there by myself, and then they say, hey, Serena's coming. It wasn't in person. It was over the phone. They're like, Serena's about to log in.
And I
had to do the interview by myself, and I think I kind of got excited.
This is the first segment of the show. You would never take an interview the first segment, but it's Serena Williams. It was right around the time that people were alleging she was taking steroids. It was just like a big deal. And, of course, it's the Miami Open. People were very excited about it. Crowder opens up the show.
We got Venus Williams here. Venus, what's up?
How did she take it?
She didn't correct me. She just kept talking. Yeah, she didn't correct me.
That's bad. She was like, who's this knucklehead interviewing me? Doesn't know anything about tennis. Just probably Wikipedia'd me.
Didn't you ask her about steroids too?
I asked about steroids. They said that wasn't the best direction, but
you have to, though.
I did my research. I was like, hey, they're talking about steroids. Is there steroids in tennis?
Imagine she was like, no, but my sister Venus does. That would be something. All right, we got weather.
Yeah, sorry, Crowder. Low-hanging fruit, but anytime you see.
That's awesome.
The best part of Serena Williams coming back at 40 years old, and Venus Williams apparently is going to play into her 80s. It means that we just keep recycling that sound forever and it'll never get old.
I don't like you.
Your weather is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Hurricane season is here. Make sure your roof and windows are ready. Call 954-968-8155.
We'll take a break. Mike Westhoff going to join us on the other side. He was with the Dolphins as a tight ends and special teams coach from 1986 through 2000. So we'll chat with him when we come on back on the other side.
Everybody has big anniversaries, but my friends over at Ed Moore's, they're celebrating something special. 80 years. A lot of people can't say that. 80 years in business. That's why my buddy Chris Atkins, he's the GM, great dude. Teddy Moore's, you see him on TV. They have an amazing team over there at Ed Moore's. And right now, Ed Moore Sawgrass Cadillac, they're commemorating this occasion by giving you special savings on Cadillac Luxury. The all-electric Cadillacs are special. My wife drives one. She loves it. And you can get one. The all-electric 2026 Cadillac Optic right now, you can get it for just $349 a month. And the all-electric 2026 Cadillac Lyrics, you can get it for $369 a month. Those are crazy prices. Ed Moore's has been family-owned and operated for 80 years. They know how to take care of their customers. That's their thing. Backed by Moore's, you are taken care of, and they know that they can stay going for another 80 years. Don't miss out on the 80th year anniversary savings. See my friends at Ed Moore Sawgrass Cadillac. They are the 6-time dealer of the year off the Sunrise Boulevard and the Sawgrass Expressway. You can't miss it. Beautiful lot. Beautiful cars, and you're going to meet beautiful people that will take care of you like family. Visit EdmooreSawgrassCadillac.com. And remember, you got to be backed by Moore's from the trade-in to the sale to the lease. Service. If your tires are low, they have an app that will tell you your PSIs. Now, I'm talking about I've never had this before until I started getting my cars from Ed Moore's. My entire driveway is backed by Moore's. Click EdmooreSawgrassCadillac.com.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Ground beef.
Alrighty, Zach Gelb here with you, along with Alejandro Solana and Channing Crowder. Let's go out to the guest line right now and welcome in a man that was one of the recipients this past year for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Award of Excellence. He also spent a bunch of years with the Miami Dolphins from 1986 through 2000. That, of course, is the longtime special teams coach, legend in the NFL, in Mike Westhoff. Coach, appreciate the time as always. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. No, I'm happy to do it.
And Coach Westhoff obviously joins us on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, toyotaofhollywood.com. Coach, I want to start you off with Zach Thomas because the Dolphins just drafted a linebacker by the name of Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. He was a second-round pick, won basically every award you could win last year for a defensive player in college football. And immediately when he gets drafted, people are like, oh, maybe this is the next Zach Thomas. You were there in 96 when the Dolphins took him in the 5th round. Just what did you guys realize initially with Zach? And when his career did take off, when was like a moment that you said, man, this guy's going to be one of the greats?
After I'd been at Texas Tech for about a half hour, that's when I knew it. I'm the only coach that went there. For anyone, there were scouts, but I'm the only coach. I fell in love with them. I learned a lesson when I was a very young individual. Actually, I learned it from Woody Hayes, to tell you the truth. I had an incident where I was a graduate assistant at Indiana University, and he came over to visit, and I was his host. And when we left, I spent like 3 days with him. When I was driving him back to the airport, he gave me some advice. He kind of liked me because I was doing my master's degree in psychology. He thought that was pretty cool. And he said to me, he said, I want you to remember something as a coach. He said, don't ever pick a player by a number. He said, pick them by the player. He said, numbers are relevant as you move up the ladder. Yes, of course, because it's a little different number, obviously, as you move up. And if you ever get in the NFL, it gets very high. He said, but pick players by people. Well, Zach Thomas exemplified that. I mean, he just was a football player. I didn't care. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was just good. He was good. He was tough. He was athletic. I remember their head coach. I was talking with him, and he just rant and raved about him, the things that he did. And I watched film with him, and I just knew he was a player. I was 100% sure. And it didn't take very long, when we were there, and Jimmy Johnson, he made the move, and we let, who was it? Jack Del Rio, I guess maybe. We let him go, and it moved Zach up into a starting role. Now, the key thing is putting him in the right spot. You have to do that. And, of course, we put him in as a 3-4, as a 4-3, linebacker. So he had the two big defensive tackles in front of him, Daryl Gardner and Tim Bowens. Those big guys on the guard. So Zach was free to run in behind that really good line, with Trace Armstrong, Jason Taylor. I mean, come on, that's a pretty good line. And Zach Thomas just ran around behind and made every tackle. He made every play. So you just knew if you give this guy the right thing in the right place, he was going to excel, and he absolutely did.
Hey, Coach, this is Channing Crowder. I got drafted by the Dolphins. Coach, I got drafted by the Dolphins and retired, and you were still with the Jets. So you have a heck of a career.
I had fun up there. I teased them a little bit because they haven't been to the playoffs since I left. I reminded them that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Coach.
I loved it there. And we were in the playoffs quite often when I was there. We were a good football team.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I had a good time. But, it's just one of those things. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Coach, was Zach worth a damn on special teams? Because he wasn't really that fast and he couldn't get off blocks.
It didn't matter. He could just play. He made tackles. He did some things for me. Yeah, I had him on a couple things. You put him in the right spot. I used to use when things are so differently. Like I watched the kickoff stuff today, and I was on the field actually at Washington because they're my buddies against Miami, and then I was on the field with the Jets. I went up there and I was on their field and watched their practices and their game, et cetera. And that stuff's so different than it was when I coached it. It's just a whole different game that the way they're doing it now. But I put Zach in a position on like a kickoff return where he would just move around kind of in the middle of the field and get in behind. And then he was a trapper. And I mean, he would just knock the hell out of you. I mean, Zach was really good at it. I mean, and he loved it. I mean, he loved doing it. It was really fun for him. And so, you can create little roles like that. I tried to have those roles for everyone. They didn't have to play very many plays, 1 or 2 plays, or maybe 4 plays a game. I mean, come on, Jason Taylor rushed the punter for me. How'd you like to have Jason Taylor and Trace Armstrong coming from each different side rushing the punter? Well, what it did, it forced them to punt the ball in the middle of the field. And let's see, Jeff Ogden and Nate Jaquette. Now, there's not 2 famous names. Both finished second in the National Football League in punt returns. Well, why do you think that happened? Well, maybe because Jason Taylor and Trace Armstrong were rushing from the edge and everybody had to punt the damn ball in the middle of the field. So those things like that are what you really have to do as a coach to create those situations.
Mike Westhoff here with us. So you said you were at that joint practice, your buddies with the Commander staff up against the Dolphins. Dolphins' new regime coming in with Jeff Hafley. Yeah, I know he was at Boston College as a head coach, spent the last few years with the Green Bay Packers. Just as a guy who's a football lifer, when you were watching the Dolphins, a team that doesn't have a ton of talent, just what did you kind of observe from the coaching staff a little bit?
They were more athletic than I expected them to be. I was right on the field. They're a pretty athletic football team. They don't look big and physical enough to be the team for my development where I live here, to tell you the truth. But that part I wasn't just sure of. Their linemen looked a little undersized to me. That part of it didn't enamor me at all. But they were athletic as a team. I also thought they worked hard and they played hard. I thought in some areas, I mean, I was their special teams coach with Washington's my good friend of mine, Larry Izzo. I mean, he was at the Dolphins. And he had a great year last year. They finished second. He's a very good coach. But I thought in a number of the things that they did that Miami actually was ahead. Miami had a little bit of an edge. It surprised me. I kind of liked what they were doing. I liked a particular return they did, the way they executed it. It was very well orchestrated according to the new thing that they're doing in in the NFL today with the way that, the new kickoff and the way how that's so very different. I liked I was impressed with what Miami did. So I saw some pretty good team speed. I don't know, it's a little tough for me to be honest with you, because I'm used to being on the field at Miami with Dan Marino his whole career. So, for me, it's a little tough. I'm trying to find a quarterback that looks like that. And I didn't see it. But I was impressed with that athleticism. Are they going to be able to run the ball? I'm not convinced. I didn't see it. That part didn't jump out at me. So it's interesting. I saw a couple of the defenders that I thought looked pretty athletic. And I think if they would move them around enough, I said sometimes, if you don't have you have levels of talent, then you have to become maybe a little bit of a blitzing team and take a chance and do a few things. But one thing I'm really adamant about in the National Football League that you have to have, obviously you've got to have the quarterback. The real good teams, all the rules lend to having that guy be an exceptional football player. And you have to have a couple edge players. You need an edge pass rusher. You need an edge offensive lineman, a big tackle. You need an edge corner. If you can get outstanding in those positions, you'll win a lot of games in the NFL. I don't think Miami knocked that door down. I think they're headed there from what I saw because of the athleticism and the speed on that football team. I was impressed. Now, are you going to use it the right way? I don't know. I can't answer that.
And Coach, I've seen in the last couple of years, it seems like football swinging back to that physical stuff you're talking about, trenches, run game. And, I think fans like to see a lot of touchdowns, the spread, and especially in college, they don't even try to run the ball. Do you see football going back? Because now the Lions, Seattle, it seems like football is going back to the late 90s, early 2000s style of football.
A little bit. I think some of the teams that are starting to move away, look at the Rams.
Yep.
The Rams are, they bring Aaron Donald back. All of a sudden they put him on that defense. Were you kidding me? They'll knock your teeth out. This is tough. No matter what, the National Football League is the toughest sport. You played. This is a very physical game. We're not trying to hurt anyone because we're doing it with respect to your opponent. But come on. I didn't care if I had any friends. I wanted my group of guys to be the toughest in the league. And I think we pretty much we pretty much exemplified that. We're pretty tough. You play us, you're going to have a tough time. That's why I finished ranked as high as we did so many times. But I kind of like that, and I think teams are, the Texans are really a tough football team.
Yeah.
They're a physical team that's coming on and have taken some real positive strides. So, that part never has gotten away, and it's interesting to see. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out how it's going to happen. But there's also that time of possession. I mean, come on, the Philadelphia Eagles have vaulted to one of the top teams in the NFL because they've become a 4-down offensive football team. Come on, they're fourth in anything that's reasonable, they're going for it. And they get it at an unbelievable percentage. So they're able to start calling plays with those things in mind. So they become a 4-down team. Well, they're pretty good. So these little things, I think you have a good point. And it's something that's, I think, very valid.
Mike Westhoff here with us. When Jimmy Johnson, you started coaching the Dolphins, what was that initial reaction? Like, what do you remember when it came out that Jimmy was coming over to coach the Dolphins?
I wasn't knocked out. I was with Coach Shula for all those years, and it was different. I knew Jimmy. I knew him when he was a young assistant. I played for him in college, so I knew a lot of things about him. But I know this: when he got there and he asked me to stay, I have a deep respect for the way he handled things. Jimmy did a good job. He was very good at managing the big picture of the game. He understood personnel. He understood of getting guys on all levels of the roster to contribute. I mean, he was very good to coach special teams with because, he gave you whatever you kind of had to have. He was great with that part of it. And he understood that. I also thought he conducted himself in the game very well. The situations. To be honest with you, I never saw him as a statistician or a real innovator. I don't even know if he could draw a play, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure. I'm sure he could, but, I never saw it. I remember one time he was showing me a play. I said, you got like 13 guys up there.
We're for sure going to win.
I tell you what, when it came to managing a game, I thought he was excellent. Excellent. I mean, he worked the timeout situations. He was very good. He was good at practicing them. And he also did a nice job of putting together the right type of individuals. He knew what he wanted. He had an image, and he stuck with that. He stuck with that image. So I think there's some things that he was, not quite as good at, or maybe just gave them over to everybody else. And some other things that I thought he was outstanding. But when he came, I wasn't. I had several other offers, and I was really tempted. Now my son was going to St. Thomas Aquinas, and I'm sure as hell wasn't going to go to Oakland, California, and take him out of school at St. Thomas Aquinas and take him out there. Al Davis offered me 3 jobs and really tried to get me to go and made me a hell of a deal, paid me the highest paid in the league, but I wouldn't do it. I stayed, and I'm very happy I stayed. And I saw a lot of Jimmy that I think he very much deserved to be in the Hall of Fame.
And Coach, a long special teams coaching career. I know you're not scared of anything. I want to say the word fear, but who are some players, who are some returners that you were the most concerned with in your career?
Deion Sanders, right at the top.
And everybody else.
I know him really well. I mean, I love him. I got to know him well when I was down in New Orleans for those couple of years. He came and visited, so I spent a lot of time. He was in Colorado. I had a chance to talk to him. I was out at Denver there for that short while, and I teased because I wouldn't. We killed him. I mean, I had Reggie Roby punting now. Don't forget, that's a pretty good punter now that could put the ball a mile in the air, and we weren't going to give him anything. Because I told him, I said, if you had to play against me your whole career, you'd have ended up a greeter at Walmart. I told him that. I said, because you would have never got famous because I'd have killed you. Because I'm giving you 0. So I had the tremendous respect for him as a football player. I also, one thing that does tell you a lot about NFL players is to see how they're treated by their teammates and they treat their teammates. Deion Sanders is incredibly respected by everybody that ever played with him. The other guy And I had a lot of experience going against him when I was at Miami, and I firmly believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. And that was Steve Tasker up at Buffalo. Steve Tasker helped those guys win football games. He made a difference on that team, and for him not to get in, I think, is really a shame. But those are some guys that scare me. But I always felt like I had more guys that I liked, the O.J. McDuffies of the world. And we were good. we were just good, with that kind of stuff. And so I was more worried about people being afraid of my guys than I was being afraid of theirs. But not Dion. He was special. You better have you better get your A game ready for that guy.
He's Coach Mike Westhoff. Coach,
that's a man answer, Gelby. I can't be scared of them because they're scared of me. I love it, Coach.
Coach, once again, congratulations. I know you're a recipient for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Award of Excellence this year. Always great to hear your voice, and we appreciate you giving us some time today.
Well, thank you. Good luck with everything. I'm still a big fan. I love my time there. I was there. I don't know, how was I, 15 years? 16 years, crazy. But I had a ball. I loved it. And I'll always have a Dolphins at heart, and I root for them, that's for sure.
Thanks so much. There he is, Coach Mike Westhoff, joining us at Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Gelb in for Hawk. Just real quickly, because I know we got to take a break. My biggest takeaway from the conversation, I love his stories, but being at practice, right? That's not a guy that's like plugged into the team that much. What he said about the line, that's the big takeaway for me, because we know Devon Achane is a great running back, not just good, great running back. But you saw the line up against the Giants, not good, and then Westhoff saw them up against the Commanders, not good as well. That's a cause for concern this year, once again, with the Dolphins' offensive line.
Yeah, but they got to get better. And that was the backup line against the Giants. So
fair, but enjoying
happens.
Practice, I'm talking about. Those are the real guys.
Yeah.
And they made Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, who's a phenomenal player, look like Lawrence Taylor, and Harry Carson and Carl Banks, for crying out loud, with the way that I saw that on social media. We'll take a timeout. We're coming on back. Headlines with Solana next.
If your garage door is outdated, damaged, or not hurricane ready, do not wait. What about just hurricane ready? I'm telling you, we got to get ready for the hurricanes with the garages, but also you get the holes in there, the bugs get in, the water gets in. That was happening to me until I called Allied Doors. You got to call Allied Doors today. Serving South Florida since 1966. That's 60 years of trusted family-owned service. You can't do anything that long and not be great at it. You don't want to be the house, beautiful yard, beautiful kids, wave at your neighbors, nice family, and your garage doors are garbage. Your neighbors are talking about you now. Called Allied Doors. Huge in-stock inventory, same-day service, and custom impact-rated doors that are built to protect and upgrade your home fast. And I got to tell you about the LiftMaster openers. LiftMasters are a bad thing. Now, built to perform, they have side-mounted, wall-mounted, they have ceiling-mounted, and they are quiet and they are efficient. You got to check out these LiftMasters. Call Allied Doors. They got them all. 954-942-8550. That's 954-942-8550. Or visit allied-doors.com. Mention this ad. $300 off. Protecting and upgrading your home fast. Do not wait. Call Allied Doors today.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Have you enjoyed today's show from whatever you've heard?
No.
Alrighty, we're back here on Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Gelbin for Hawk. I know you guys got into this on Monday, but it's resurfaced because today we found out that Tua Tagovailoa is going to start up against the Miami Dolphins, the new quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix Jr., who's been cleared, is not going to play, though, in this game. And I know you guys had this conversation on Monday. Do you boo Tua or not? The game is in Miami. It's a preseason game. Who even knows what the attendance is going to be for that? But for the fans that are there, those are your dedicated, passionate fans that, like, you're going to any preseason game. I salute you, tip the cap, and all that. Usually I would say don't boo Tua because, unfortunately, his career here was defined by concussions and by injuries. And I see this Joe Shad tweet, who covers the Dolphins for a long time. Before that, he was a longtime ESPN college football reporter. And he tweeted out, no reason to boo Tua Tagovailoa on Friday, folks. 1, he didn't choose his draft slot. 2, he didn't choose to give himself an extension. 3, he had some memorable moments. And 4, he was willing to risk injury for teammates and family. All those points valid. Like, all right, he didn't choose his draft slot. I kind of roll my eyes at, though. Like, he didn't choose to give himself an extension. He signed it. I roll my eyes out. But the last 2, he did have some memorable moments, and he was willing to risk injury for teammates and family. The part, though, where I have to say it's fair to boo Tua, and I have no problem if you boo Tua, I'm like a big accountability guy. And when you're bad, just say you're bad. What he did the last year, throwing so many people under the bus, that press conference in the middle of October, if you recall, even when he got introduced with the Falcons, he's talking about his ex. I know you could only answer the questions that you're being asked, but he didn't take accountability there. That lack of accountability, where I get it, right? This guy put his body on the line. It just didn't work out. Like, I wouldn't usually want to boo a guy that's been through that much. But the last year and a half, I thought he acted like a real petulant jackass. And that's why I think it's fair game to boo Tua Tagovailoa on Friday.
Oh, no, Gelby. I was saying that if you're mad at his press conferences, then that's the only way I can see you boo him. You had the 2023 season. You had the Pro Bowl season, number 1 offense in the league. He gave you the 70-point game. Like, he did some positive things. I agree with Joe Shad. If you're booing him because, like you say, you think he's a what'd you call it? A petulant what?
A petulant jackass, I said.
There you go. So a petulant jackass because of his press conferences. If I have a meeting and my teammates don't come, is that my fault? I get it. That's that stuff. If you are mad at this young man because he got paid and had concussions, you need to check yourself out because that's ridiculous.
Agreed. That I agree with. And for a while, I was on your side. Like, don't boo Tua. It's unfortunate what he had to go through. He could have retired years ago and probably should have. He elected not to do so because he loves football and he had good intentions here. But that last year and a half, and you talked about it, oh, well, guys need to show up early to meetings. Well, if you're a great leader and you're the quarterback of the team, you make sure those guys are in the meeting on time. Like, they should be doing that out of respect to you. And it's almost like they didn't respect Tua Tagovailoa. And at the end, even after he had time to process it, and he winds up in Atlanta, right? And he got all of his money from the Dolphins. It's just, I never heard Tua say, guys, it didn't work the way that I wanted it to work in Miami. And I know that I was hurt. And that's something that obviously has worn a lot on me. But there were things that I could have done better with the Dolphins. There was just, it was always everybody else. It's like the kid that does wrong and he points the finger at everybody else before saying, hey, you know what? I messed up. I shouldn't have done that at school.
Just having this conversation, I want to see, and I don't know if they'll even cover it, how does Jordan Brooks, how does Devon Achane, how does Brewer, how does Malik Washington, how does his ex-teammates, are they running up and hugging him and embracing him, or are they just giving him the nod? Because if he called me out like that, I'm not walking across the field to hug him. Man, you try to throw me under the bus, man. I'll see you somewhere.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If his comments weren't intended to Devon Achane, and let's say it was to Tyreek Hill, who's no longer here, does a guy like Devon Achane hold any resentment to Tua for those comments? Because maybe Devon Achane, I'm assuming Devon Achane was one of those players that was showing up on time.
Yes.
Maybe Devon Achane was like, nah, I kind of agree with Tua. It's a joke that Tyreek Hill wasn't showing up to meetings on time.
Chop Robinson said that, he wishes Tua well, but, quote, practice, we couldn't hit him. Now it's game time, and I'll be able to hit him. he's very much looking forward to getting his hands on Tua. Here's the thing with Tua Tagovailoa, and if Crowder, I understand your perspective, which is he didn't sign that check. It was Chris Grier. And the reality is Dolphins fans are upset because you invested a lot of money that is now hurting you financially as an organization. And the reality is he didn't sign that check. You're right, but he's the poster boy for that entire era, which ended the same way every other era ended, which is without a playoff win for the Miami Dolphins. He was drafted 5th overall. We tanked for Tua. This organization had huge expectations. He'd come in, be the next Dan Marino. The reality is he's probably top 5 quarterback since Dan Marino, probably top 2 quarterback since Dan Marino. It doesn't erase the fact that tomorrow or Friday, when Tua Tagovailoa takes that field, Dolphins fans are going to release emotions that they've held for the past year when it all came crashing down and burning with Tua as the poster boy of that era. Okay. Whether it's right or wrong is another conversation, because I'm with you. Like, I don't think he's a bad dude.
No.
I think, as Gelb said, petulant child probably sums up the last year here, plus horrible play. But if you're expecting Tua to get a round of applause from the 50+ thousand that are going to be at Hard Rock Stadium for an FM preseason game, you're nuts. You know why?
50,000.
50,000 people.
Maybe 5.
You know why, Gelb? I'm not even joking. You know why 50,000 people are going to be there? Because Tua Tagovailoa was back in that building, and they're going to get a chance to boo him.
But so you say poster child as you want to? Will you boo Jalen Ramsey or Jalen Waddle if they come back? Because they're taking a lot of money out of our salary cap right now as well.
Salary crap.
Salary crap.
That's actually the right way to describe it. Salary cap. The Dolphins don't have a salary cap. They have a salary cap. No, but you know what? Jalen Ramsey should get booed. More so than Tua, because he quit on this team too. The second it became evident that this team wasn't going to win a Super Bowl, he said, hey, get me the F out of here. So I'm with you. You should get booed. But Crowder, I don't think you can compare the amount of money that the Dolphins gave Tua, and he gets in front of the crowd after he gets it, and he says, show me the money, and he makes jokes about it, and then he comes out. You talk about salary crap. He literally laid a crap on the field every single game that he played after getting paid.
What was the potato chips line again that he gave Solana?
It was something along the lines of, I get to go home to my family. I'm not worried about the criticisms while they're all at home on their couch eating potato chips.
And I bring that up for a reason. That reminded me of when LeBron James, after he lost the NBA Finals to the Mavericks, basically said to all the haters, like, I get to go home and live my life with my beautiful family, and I get up the next day, and that's what it is, while you still have to go to work and do your crappy job, or whatever LeBron said. The big difference, LeBron James has the resume, the longevity, the championships, and the success to act like an a-hole and say those things because he could recover from it. A guy like Tua Tagovailoa, unfortunately, was not in that position to do so.
You don't remember 2023?
Yeah, you're talking about.
It's like the tallest dwarf for this franchise because they haven't won a damn playoff game since 2000.
No, yeah, 2023, man. I mean, had the season ended prior to that Titans game, we were the Super Bowl champions. We were the Super Bowl champs.
Number 1 offense in the world.
Number 1 offense ever. Greatest surf on turf.
That's good.
I don't get booing. I don't get booing players. Like, I get it. I understand it. It's fandom.
But here's why. It's because this fan base, I'll explain this to you. I came on this show like 3 years ago, and I remember getting into debate with you guys, and I said, Tua is not the guy. Neither is Mike McDaniel. And the fan base here came after me, and it's like, who are you to mess with one of our own? They defended Tua for so long. But then when he took shots at the organization, which is essentially taking shots at the fan base because the fans are always going to represent the team, it's like, we backed you for so long, and then you're going to spit in our faces. That's when you get a fan base to turn on you, where for most of it, it's, okay, the Tua Tagovailoa era had some good moments. It's a sad story, though, because of the injuries, because of the concussion, and I don't think he would have got booed until the way that he handled it the last year and a half.
Maybe, Gelb, maybe he doesn't get booed the way I mean, I really think,
not hellacious boos.
Right. I really think it's going to be hellacious boos. I think when the Falcons come out for that first drive and Tua gets under center, it's going to be like a regular season atmosphere in there with boos. Genuinely, that's the amount of vitriol I think this fan base has for him. And Gelb, you're probably right. It was exacerbated a little bit based on how he conducted himself the final year. But I still think it comes down to one thing. This fan base is starved for a winner. We talked about it on Monday. I don't want to rehash it. Everybody knows what the drought is, 25 years. But like, really think about that, 25 years. There's kids who are 24 or adults who are 24 who have never witnessed their team win a meaningful game. And Tua Tagovailoa was supposed to be the guy to change that, and he didn't. And I think that's ultimately where it comes from. There were expectations. He was at the forefront of those expectations, and ultimately, it's not all on him, but ultimately he failed to deliver upon those expectations, and that's where the frustration comes from a Dolphins fan that has been just beaten down for 20-plus years.
And look, Brian Flores, who had a bunch of incidents with Tua, and he was slammed at the time, has recovered. He's never been a head coach again. That's because of the lawsuit, but he's recovered in his standing, looking back at that and what he's gone on to do in his career as a defensive coordinator. Mike McDaniel's in a wonderful situation with the Chargers, but like McDaniel, to me, with what he allowed to go on here and the lack of accountability, and it's funny because we're slamming Tua, there is some merit to what Tua's saying because it was a free-for-all here with Mike McDaniel. And immediately, yeah, they got to the playoffs twice. He had the vape pen on the sideline, like we all remember it, the 2 wild card games. But McDaniel should only be an offensive coordinator in this league, and he's going to have a lot of success. And when he has a lot of success with the Chargers, I would not hire that guy to be a head coach because even though Tua didn't take accountability here, Tua was probably sitting there saying, yeah, I played for Nick Saban. I know the way that the ship was run there and how it was a professional organization at Alabama. And for Mike McDaniel, it was like a country club. Do what you want. Let's just have fun and everybody sing Kumbaya and get along together.
I'll tell you, we're on this training camp tour, because people know I'm from Miami. They always want to talk Dolphins. I've had a...
As you have your Buccaneers hat on.
Yeah. No, today I got on a Yankees hat.
No, I'm saying normally, though.
Oh, okay. I've had a very, very well-known coach and some other guys. They said Mike McDaniel is a top 5 play caller in this league. He should not have been a head coach. That's what they say. They say everybody knows it. When he got the job, they were kind of like, oh, really? They said he's a genius offensive guy, but he had to, when you have to do both, it kind of, it's too much. There's 24 hours in the day, and you can't do both of those.
He's not a leader of a team. That's the bottom line. And I hear him at the podium. I can't take that dude seriously. And I'm not saying that you got to be all buttoned up and you got to be a robot, but I always felt like I was on the outside of the inside joke with Mike McDaniel. I knew that it was going to reach an expiration date. I called him like the Napoleon Dynamite of, if you remember that movie, of football coaches, because it just seemed like he was a clown at the podium all the time.
I put together a list of the top 4 people in order, by the way, from 1 to 4, that deserve to be booed based on the Dolphins' struggles over the last, half decade.
You put together this list?
I just put this list together right now.
Well, let's do this. Let's get headlines in, and let's get to that list on the other side just so we could stay with the clock.
It's a really stupid list. I don't feel like doing that.
I thought I just gave you a great radio tease. You know, you have the listeners sitting there, and then Solana's like, no, it's a real dumb list. Go ahead.
But when I dropped TD, the mascot, as number 4, the payoff
that would have been a bad tease.
It would have been a really, really, really upsetting one. Number 1 is Chris Grier. Number 1, without a doubt, right? Like, does anybody disagree with that? Chris Grier.
What photos did he have of Stephen Ross's schmeckle that allowed that guy to keep his job as long as he did? Never made sense to me.
And I'm not defending Chris Grier, but he was the GM for what, 9 years?
Was it long time? Yeah. It was the organization for like
in
20.
The system, but he was making the decisions for 9 years out of 25. I guarantee there's some garbage GMs before him.
Yeah, no, but I was just saying the last decade, half decade, like.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to add Jeff Ireland to this list, brother, I mean, say no more. Jeff Ireland is added. I mean, I hate the country of Ireland because of Jeff Ireland. Like that's how much I despise that dude. Stephen Ross.
Des Bryant hates him too.
Yeah, he does. Stephen Ross is on this list, fellas, at number 2.
That's silly.
And talk to me about the stadium all you want. And Hard Rock has turned into a metropolis for sports. All that is true. But at the end of the day, who hired Chris Greer? Who hired Jeff Ireland? Who hired all of these people? Mike Tannenbaum? Who hired all these people who have brought nothing but just misery to our lives? And that's one person. That's Stephen Ross.
Before I reached out to Mike Westhoff to come on the show today, I did reach out to Mike Tannenbaum. And I said to him, and Mike has never rejected an interview request from me. I was like, hey, Mike, Zach Gelb here, and I hope all is well. Can you join us on WQAM in Miami tomorrow to talk some Dolphins and some national NFL headlines? Could do tomorrow at 2:25, 3:25, 4:25. Like, I wasn't looking to slam him for his time here with the Dolphins. He's like, hi, hope you're doing great. I'll need to pass on this. Thank you.
He was a rough one. Nice.
Third on this list. So we've got Chris Greer 1, Stephen Ross 2. Third on this list. I'll let Crowder finish doing whatever it is he's doing with his microphone. You good?
He's adjusting his piece.
Yeah. You all right, Crowder? All right, let me mute him because you heard that, Gelb? He's like hitting the mic the whole time.
Yeah, whatever.
Third on this list is the Mississippi State defense for breaking Tua's hip in half in 2019. So I don't even necessarily put all the blame on Tua. I put the blame on that first initial injury because Tua, prior to that injury,
The Bo Jackson injury,
was genuinely one of the greatest college quarterbacks I've ever seen.
They're up like 28-0 at that point, too.
So Nick Saban's fault? Okay,
I would probably put him on there,
We'll
too.
add Nick Saban to this list, too. Yeah, a lot of people need to be on this list. Yeah. And then finally, number 4, as Crowder still struggles to fix his microphone. That, by the way, everybody, you just have to plug it in to the computer. That's it. I swear. That's how simple it is.
I don't think he can hear anything you're saying.
He cannot. Is TD the mascot? Because at some point, 25 years of misery, it's got to come down to everybody in that building. I feel like the mascot doesn't get enough hate for how much the Dolphins have sucked.
Yeah, by the way, that was good that we didn't tease that little list that you had there.
TD.
All right, you got headlines here?
He's my friend.
Kids want to take a picture with TD and he gets booed. What's wrong with you?
I start booing TD. Boo TD.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was your best work there, Solana.
I happen to be very proud of that list, by the way. I think I put together a solid list. I mean, TD was probably a bit of a reach, even though I think that's a fair conversation. But Chris Greer, Stephen Ross, and the Mississippi State defense, I think I put together a pretty good list there, Gelb.
Yeah, Mr. Solana, for what you've just said, it's one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's about his work, Gelb. It's lined up with the pass lists.
I want to boo Gelb.
Go ahead. Bring it on. Woo, a little boo. Woo.
We're sponsored by Doral Hyundai in Miami. We go to the beach for a little solcito, and when we want a low price, you save with your Pricito. Save now with your Pricito at Doral Hyundai. Marlins do play tonight, 6:40. They're going to get the Boston Red Sox. You can listen to the game right here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Speaking of Tua, he will start in case you missed that note.
Boo.
Friday for the Falcons in Miami. It is the return of Uno. Dolphins did practice today. It was their final training camp practice, by the way. Jacob Rodriguez was not a participant. We'll have to find out what his status is for Friday.
By the way, I don't know why. I feel like that whore, Tyreek Hill, is going to show up at the game on Friday. Like, just get a seat in the stands. That football whore, Tyreek Hill, to make it about himself and put him in the news.
He's working out down here, right?
Probably.
I saw videos. I don't know.
Yeah, he still works out down here. He lives down here still.
He's a football whore.
He's been on 2 teams.
Yeah, but I'm saying like he will want the attention. He would be there.
Okay.
Remember, he quit on the team and then went on the apology tour at Radio Row. That guy, you know what? I apologize for calling Tua Tagovailoa a petulant jackass. Tyreek Hill is a petulant jackass, and then some.
Man.
He's not my friend. I tell you who's my friends and who's not my friends.
Don't let your kids around him either, all right?
What was I saying?
It just broke Solana's brain.
Yeah, you just threw me off my game. We still don't know who's playing Friday for the Dolphins, if the starters are going to suit up or not. We will have to wait. Your weather in South Florida right now, it is 90 degrees, hot, and raining in parts of South Florida as well. This weather report is brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Beat the storm. Schedule your free roof and window estimate today. Call 954-968-8155.
More of Hochman, Crowder, and Solana next. But first up, here's Channing.
Everybody loves anniversaries. We have all kind of anniversaries going on, but Ed Moore's has the best anniversary they've ever had because it's the 80th year in business. You can have an 80-year anniversary if you already had one. So that's my buddy Chris Atkins and his amazing team over there. They are putting together a special anniversary celebration for their customers. Ed Moore Sawgrass Cadillac. They're commemorating the occasion by giving you and me special savings on Cadillac luxury, just like the all-electric 2026 Cadillac Optic. You can get in this beautiful all-electric vehicle for just $349 a month, and the all-electric 2025 Cadillac Lyrics for just $369 a month. Family owned and operated for 80 years, and you know how they do it? Taking care of their customers. Being backed by Moore's is a special thing. Don't miss out on the 80th year anniversary savings. Go see my friends at Ed Moore Sawgrass Cadillac. They're the 6-time dealer of the year off Sunrise Boulevard and the Sawgrass Expressway. Visit EdmoreSawgrassCadillac.com. And remember, it is a special thing to be backed by Moore's. Click EdmoreSawgrassCadillac.com.
This is Hawk, Crowder, and Solana.
I'm just
Alrighty, welcome back in. It is Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Gelb for Hawk. We quickly got to mix in a stock market update. Here is Alejandro Solana.
The stock market report is sponsored by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. The S&P 500, for the most part, unchanged today. The NASDAQ declined 0.08%, and the Dow Jones lost 113 points, or around 0.21% to finish at 53,463. So not the greatest day on Wall Street. That's brought to you by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Mince meat tonight in the Crowder household is what I'm being told.
Yeah, we might have some. Ooh, what do we eat on a night like this?
I'm cooking tonight. I'm doing a little broccoli, those chopped potatoes, those fingerling potatoes, and I'm doing some burgers tonight. That's what I'm doing.
Right. We'll have a little dessert rice, chicken breast.
What's dessert rice? You say dessert rice?
Dessert rice. You get rice, you put butter on it, a little sugar, you mix it up, a little pepper, dessert rice.
Is that a thing? Or is that just a Crowderism?
No, that's dessert rice. People eat it since this Ice Age.
I've never heard of dessert rice. Rice and beans. I've heard of fried rice. Dessert rice?
That's that stock market diet.
You got to take what you got.
Yeah.
Rice is cheap, sugar's cheap, butter's cheap, dessert rice.
All right, real quickly, let's go around the room. I have some NFL predictions for this year. Just quickly tell me if you buy or sell it. Keep the answers like 25, 30 seconds. Let's move and groove it. Joe Burrow's going to win the NFL MVP this year.
No, he's going to get injured. He gets injured all the time.
Solana?
Selling on it. But I don't trust that team. Yesterday was a horrible sign. Jamar Chase said he's fine, but that knee injury looked tough. I'm selling.
So if he stays healthy and they win the AFC North, I think that's the path for him to win the MVP because of the fact I know they made improvements on that defense, but still that offense is going to be a stellar offense in the NFL. So that's what I'm resting my laurels on.
Yeah, I said no. I'm supposed to say sell, right? I didn't get the game. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm with you, Gil. Bye. He's in the
Okay,
prime
that's
of
why
his
I like
career.
Dan Day. That's why I
Stays
like Dan
healthy.
Day.
He's got weapons. Bye.
LSU guy. Yeah, you can't trust him.
Go Tigers. All righty. Number 2, the Jaguars, after going 13-4, will miss the playoffs this year.
No.
I'm selling because I just sat down with Liam Cohen with the pivot.
No, I'm selling that because of the fact that they're not. What is it? Tennessee's not going to be that good. The Colts, maybe.
What about the Texans?
I don't know what the Texans are going to do. They fall off. They're great defense, but what is the offense really going to do? I know they added Demo, David Montgomery, but I think I do I do believe in Liam Cohen, and I think they'll be pretty damn good.
If they went to anybody but the Jaguars last week, I think that you would have been buying that opinion. Solana?
I'm selling because I love my guy.
Duval.
I like Liam Cohen too. I don't know what it is. I bought into that season last year. You don't win 13 games and it's a fluke. That just doesn't happen.
Dan Day?
I'm selling. I think they have the foundation. I think Trevor Lawrence is good enough. The coach is good enough. Your boy Duval and all that stuff. I don't see that big of a drop off.
Yeah, I think they're missing the playoffs. That's a team, first-year head coach. They were awesome. They were great. I know Brian Thomas Jr. didn't play well this past year. They lost the guy that we now call Travis Achan, even though it was ATN his entire career. Yeah. So I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna say that they missed the playoffs this year. Everyone says the Patriots are gonna regress. How about the Jaguars regressing? All righty, number 2. The last 2 years, the Packers have been the 7th seed, and they've been showing up to the postseason and going home wild card weekend. The Packers will miss the playoffs this year in a deep NFC.
I'm buying that one. That NFC is wild right now, and they just getting better and better. Yeah, I think the Packers will. They won't regress, but they're They're not good enough to beat those other crazy teams.
Like 9-8, 10-7, but they just don't have the tiebreaker go their way is what I think is going to happen with them.
Their division is a monster division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Lions will be better.
Week in and week out, they're playing playoff teams. Yeah, I would buy that.
I will sell on that. I think the Packers still make the playoffs. I like Jordan Love. I don't know if he's elite, but I like Jordan Love. I like Tucker Kraft as well. And if defensively they can stay healthy, if what's his name from Dallas can stay healthy. Micah Parsons, I think they're as balanced as any team in that division. I'm selling. I think they make the playoffs.
Dante?
I'm selling because I love Jordan Love. I also love the fact that there can be a moment where he looks like he doesn't know that the game of football exists, but then the next moment he'll make the greatest play that you've ever seen. Micah Parsons comes back. They're a class organization. I think they find their way right back where they are every year, 7th seed.
LaFleur could be on the market next year. Those fans very impatient with LaFleur from the Packers fans that I do talk to.
LaFleur.
Next one, Justin Herbert wins a playoff game this year.
Oof.
Oh, yes. Yes, buy. I don't know what it is, but it's a yes.
That would be a buy. Channing, I know yesterday we talked about how I would push you around in 15, 20 years, and maybe in 15, 20 months.
Yes, Justin Herbert. I think the Chargers are going to be very good. McDaniel's a hell of a play caller, and that Harbaugh can coach his tail off. Look what he did in San Francisco. I think they'll put it all together. I think they're going to be special.
Yeah, was in San Francisco for 4 years, made the NFC Championship game 3 out of the 4 years with a Super Bowl appearance. Solana.
I'm going to sell because, and not because of the Mike McDaniel thing, but we do this every year with the Chargers, and they're the best team during preseason, during training camp, all these expectations, and then the same thing happens to them. Their offensive line gets hurt. Their interior offensive line doesn't have enough depth to withstand the season. Justin Herbert is the best quarterback through 5 weeks and then looks just like another okay quarterback. And defensively, I was reading earlier this morning that there's a lot of questions about their secondary depth as well. So I am selling on the Chargers. Until I see it, I will not believe it with Los Angeles.
And by the way, last year they lost both of their tackles. You talk about the interior offensive line, their center's already done for the year. Dan Day.
Yeah, Bia Dodds or whatever his name is on injured reserve out for the year.
Little radio tip, that's when you just go the center when you don't know how to say his name.
Sell because of the Broncos and the Chiefs, and they're just not over the hump yet.
Okay, last one. The Philadelphia Eagles will be playing in the NFC Championship game this year.
Ooh, sell. The same way I think about you talk about Green Bay. I just think the NFC is loaded, man. And you have to have a team out of the South in there too. So that's just cheating because now that's losing a playoff spot. I think Philly is I think Philly's on the downswing of the Nick Sirianni time.
I'm selling Justin I'm sorry, Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
You may have some CTE from all those soccer headers too.
You got me messed up, man. Jalen Hurts, nice little mustache you got going there, bro. But they traded away his wide receiver 1. That team is just constantly in turmoil amongst itself. I'm selling on the Eagles this year.
Sirianni's made the playoffs all 5 years as a head coach, and he's been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, for all this turmoil, they do a lot of winning. There's a lot of turmoil in Miami, and they don't do anywhere close to that amount of winning.
I just said it on the downswing, though, Gil. Next time we play this game, say, will the Eagles make it to the NFC Championship game? I'll be a lot better with just a direct question.
Okay. Dan Day.
Will
the Eagles make it to the NFC Championship game this year because Crowder's too stupid?
With all that you just said, I'm buying. Even every year when they're the worst of the worst and we think they're in the pits, they're right there in the hunt for at least the NFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl. You've sold me on it. I'm buying on that. They're going to make it.
More of Hochman, Crowder, and Solana next.
Hey, how about $30 million in guaranteed prizes? That sounds good, right? $30 million in guaranteed prizes. You can cash in this football season in Las Vegas with 3 Circa Sports contests, entry starting at $1,000, all with no rake. You've got the Circa Million. 18 weeks of point spread action, 128 ways to win. Then you've got the Circa Survivor. Pick one winner each week, last one standing wins. And then it's the Big Daddy. It's the Circa Grandissimo with a $100,000 entry. You enter in Nevada, but you can play from anywhere. That's right, play from anywhere, even here in Miami. Just have to enter in Nevada. That's $30 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
This is Hawk, Crowder, and Solana.
Is there any possibility that Billy the Marlin is a bird?
It is Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Gelb in for Hawk on this Wednesday. We were talking about earlier this hour that you're going to have Tua Tagovailoa starting for the Falcons up against the Dolphins on Friday. Michael Penix Jr. will not be playing in the game. Solana did say that Jeff Hafley has not decided yet if the Dolphins starters are going to play. I'm just curious, Crowder. Preseason game number 1, they had that awesome drive with Malik Willis. In preseason game number 2, the starters didn't really play. That joint practice, they got abused by the Giants. Do you think it's important for the starters to get a little action coming in on Friday night?
Important. Is it going to change the outcome of the season? No, but do I want to see it with a young team, with a quarterback that's unproven, with a lot of weapons that are unproven? I would like to see them go out just like you're talking about game 1. Go out and get a good drive in. Put a good taste in the fans' mouths, however many fans are there, and get that continuity that you roll into the season with that week off saying, okay, we're ready to go. But I don't think the decision to play or bench anybody is going to change what happens week 1 against the Raiders.
Yeah, I think it would just be a perception thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you end the offseason and training camp hopefully on a good note. But we wipe the records clean when the regular season starts. I'm not going to sit here and say, yes, unbelievable if they do. And then I'm also not going to scream if they don't. But that week 1 game up against the Raiders, it's a soft landing spot. Now, the Raiders are looking at it and saying, hey, the Dolphins, the Raiders should be able to get a victory up against them. So it goes both ways. But that's when this stuff really does start. And we keep on seeing it now with how less and less contact you have and how many guys don't end up playing in the preseason. It does look like preseason quality until the midway of October. So it's a chance for Hafley and company to get off to the right start with this fan base by getting the Raiders, a victory up against the Raiders in week 1.
Yeah, and my thing, we used to laugh about this as players. Hey, guys, you got 1 drive, 10 plays. In defense, they'll say if you go 3 and out, you got to play 2 drives. It's like starters. When I was playing with the big dogs, the Zach Thomases, Jason Taylors, juniors, all those guys. Like, what is that going to do to change your tackling if you play 6 plays? Like, you can't tackle. You go play 6 plays. Now you can tackle? Like, it's
good
funny
point
to me that people say that, like, this is terrible football. They can't tackle anymore. Okay, get it. And think about it, 6 plays, only 6, 7 people can make a tackle. If you have an assist, you need to learn how to tackle at practice. You're in the NFL. You should know how to damn tackle. And I know that a lot of missed tackles, I love defense. I hate early season football because guys just they're not physical enough. But yeah, man, 6 plays on Friday is not going to help a defense get better at tackling.
By the way, I brought in a lot of your old teammates this summer, and I'm filling in with Kevin Carter and Gus Farrat. Today, I just kind of booked Mike Westhoff because I know we would have so many Zach Thomas stories, and you love Zach Thomas playing together with him at the tail end of his career when you were getting your career started. I think you were intimidated by Coach Westhoff. He started off, I was the only one to go visit him at Texas Tech, and you didn't try to outstory Mike Westhoff.
Listen, it was perfectly obvious he didn't know me from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You don't think so? I don't know. When I talked to him this morning, he was like, oh, Channing, yeah, like I know him.
Really? Yeah. I was like, yeah, Coach, your career started, mine ended. Yeah. Yep.
Well, he didn't coach you.
I know. And I don't think I made a big impact on special teams, to be honest.
When you retired when?
I was a left guard. 2010 was my last season.
So he was with the Jets. He goes, yeah, we remember playing up against you guys. That's when the Jets were actually decent when he was there.
They were good. I played left guard on punt. Wasn't very good. Didn't let a punt get blocked, but didn't make any special teams tackles.
I asked Mike Westhoff, I go, what was the scouting report you had on Channing Crowder? He said, weak in the knees. That's what he said. He didn't actually say that.
You are lying.
It is Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. So not a big deal if they don't play the starters on Friday.
No, it's not.
Do you think they will?
You said it great. It's perception. And I get getting a fan base excited or letting your fans see their new squad again, which that would be the approach. But you know what? I think Hafley's one of them old school football guys. So he might be like, hey, get out there, bump a little bit and let's see. But like I said, I don't think it affects the Raiders game.
Do you think they will?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess you'll have booing Tua Tagovailoa on Friday night and maybe 8 plays of Malik Willis. Oh, could you imagine if I hate to even say this. Could you imagine with Tua come back to town if Malik gets hurt?
No, what are we doing here?
But I'm just saying, with how much people talked about Tua and the injuries, imagine just the scene. Everyone boos Tua, and then Malik gets hurt while Tua's on the sideline, and Tua's like, "See, it wasn't just me."
that would be very bad, and now I got a tear in my eye. You're about to make me cry.
Gelb, if that happens, I'm flying up to New York, first flight out, and I'm kicking your ass, bro.
Why?
For even dropping that into the ether. Like, why even say those words?
That's why I don't think they should play Malik Willis coming up on Friday night. It's just there for the storyline. It would be so Dolphins. Anyway, more of Hochman, Crowder, and Solana when we come on Back. Headlines next.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
Any sandwich oblong is going to be better than a circular sandwich. That's just fact.
Gelbin for Hawk. It is Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. I know Joey Taylor used to do radio for a while in this town before blowing up at FS1. But when Joy got let go from FS1 and she had her entire scandal, I remember her doing an interview and she said something along the lines of, like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I just kind of want to go away and never be back in front of a microphone. Now I feel like I see Joy all over my screen still doing all these different types of podcasts. The latest one is from Front Office Sports. I guess she was a guest. She told Front Office Sports that the NFL is playing with fire when it comes to potentially expanding the regular season to 18 games. Quote, it's too much. You've got enough money. Chill, in close quotes. Now, even though I think if you're going to say you're going to go away, you should go away, I happen to agree with Joy Taylor, where the NFL could do whatever they want. They have us all by the balls. We see all the disgusting things that go on and all the hypocrisies. And each and every Sunday, I park my fat ass down on the couch, I eat my nachos and my wings and dip them in blue cheese and do all that stuff. I had my rice pudding even afterwards, chanting, which I didn't know was called dessert rice, but I'm learning more and more. I love rice pudding. I didn't know it was called dessert rice, but they're going to eventually add that extra game. It's unnecessary. It's piggish, and they have enough money, but this commissioner, say what you want about him, he does a great job in making the price go up and up and up and up. So they'll do it, but I think it's a bad decision by the NFL, but ultimately we'll keep on watching.
It's a bad decision for the players because they're replaceable. Who's it a bad decision for? The fans that want to see more football, the owners that want to make more money, or the players who nobody cares about because Tom Brady retired, the NFL didn't stop. Name the best player in NFL history. Oh, goodness. Ooh. I just ate a beef patty with some ketchup on it. Ketchup got me.
Is that just beef jerky? Is that what you're talking about?
No, like a hamburger patty, but no bun, no sides, no nothing.
Sorry, Gil, but I hate to barge in here, but with a phlegm interruption that egregious, it's got to be done, Crowder.
He hasn't cleared his throat in 22 years.
He can still.
I mean,
Medvedev be doing his thing lately.
how's your phlegm?
Alfredo sauce. Wash of choice.
Jack Daniels has always made whiskey, and if they have it their way, they always will. And who cares if Tua goes home and
Legend has it, his phlegm is more dangerous than hot lava from a volcano.
We were blaming it on injury.
Oh my goodness! I mean, that is. I mean, someone waterboarding you?
Goodness, I almost died.
Channing Crowder is the phlegmiest man in the world.
And some of those. Some of those.
You kind of remind me. You remember that commercial growing up as a kid where the guy smoked too many cigarettes and then he had the hole in his throat? He's like, I used to love to swim. If water gets inside me, it will drown me. When you were coughing there, oh my God, that's bad. I thought you had head problems, not throat problems.
I try to snack a little bit throughout the show, and keep my metabolism going.
I don't know how people do it when they eat on the air. Like, I would love to be able to, but your mouth starts to water. Then, like, if you have like a salty snack, it gets like stuck in your throat or in your teeth or underneath your tongue. It's a problem when you're eating on the air.
Crowder's had years of training his throat, so.
Look at you. Go get a quick one in, huh?
They call him the throat goat. That's what they say. Channing Crowder, the throat goat.
Go get a quick one in. No, Jack. That's not the name. But back to
Joy.
Back to Joy. But no, for real, I want you, as you explain your side, who's it hurting?
The players.
Who cares?
I do.
Gail.
I'm still going to watch.
You're that concerned if somebody tears their knee up or breaks an arm.
But the quality is not going to be as good. You're going to add an extra game. They'll probably then take away another preseason game. And how many times do we sit there? I just said in the last segment, it's the middle of October, and I'm saying, wow, the quality of football stinks right now.
It's a recession-proof. Their net goes up every single year.
Of course, but we're arguing different points. The NFL could walk into my house, punch my mother in the face, the commissioner can, and I'm still going to watch on Sunday.
Yes.
Like, look at all the awful things that go on off the field that they survive. Look at what they allow in their league, and we all watch. I get that. But adding an extra regular season game, as a fan, I just go, it's too much. We don't need it. That's why I love football. It's once a week. The games are limited, and each and every game matters. Now we're going to add an extra game. It's just, why? When the season ends, I go, I've seen enough football for the year. I don't need another game of it.
And a phrase you said, I think Joy said it in one way, you said another, enough money. Who has enough money?
The owners, the league.
No, they don't. Why do they invest their money? Because they want more money, Gil. Why does Elon Musk come up with stuff? He is a crazy billionaire. Because if you got 10 billion, you want 11 billion. You got 11 billion, you want 14 billion. Just like a normal person makes 50 grand, they want to make 60 grand. I'm telling you, that phrase, enough money, it sounds good, but it's unrealistic in the human nature.
The NFL was $23 billion in total annual revenue last year. We used to talk about like 14, 15. I had to Google it to see what it's up to. It's 23. Like, yeah, you know what? Joy is right. I don't usually agree with Joy. Enough is enough. We don't need to add an extra game.
I'm saying the truth. I don't believe in it. I care about the players, but it's
you
not.
don't.
No.
Channing Crowder no longer cares about the players. He does not care about anything he just said yesterday. He totally you're the hypocrisy.
No. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not telling you I agree with it. It's hurting the players. You play an extra game, extra chance to get hurt, extra chance to get injuries, extra chance to all that. The thing about the quality going down, okay, I'm not going to watch football till mid-October because it's low-quality football. You're going to sit right there week one and watch 700 tackles get missed, and you're going to cheer at the end when that guy kicks that field goal.
And then I'll bitch about it on Monday.
Like you said, Gail, we love it. You're going to watch it. They have us by the old kahunas, whatever they call it. Cajones,
yeah.
Cajones. They have our cajones.
I know we got to get to Ira, so let's quickly get to headlines with Solana.
For what it's worth, I thought you both made very compelling arguments. I was very fond of both of your sides. However, the only correct answer here is that it's got to be an even number. So either the NFL goes back to 16 or they go to 18. Because enough already with the 9 and 8 and the 8 and 9s. Give me an even number. That's how it always has been. That's the way it should be. Get it together, Goodell.
It's a good take.
You think he's going to lose a week of revenue or gain a week of revenue if he can?
He's going to gain. They could truncate it to 14 games a year. The NFL is going to keep on going uppity up in price.
I don't care how they do it. Just get me back to an even number, Crowder.
Could add 5 more games. The Dolphins still won't make the playoffs.
Your mind can't fathom below and above 500.
I haven't even really paid attention to the NFL since they changed to this 17-game season. It's too much for me, really. Yeah. All right, your headlines. They're brought to you by Doral Hyundai in Miami. We go to the beach for a little solcito. And when you want a low price, you save with your Pricito. Save now with your Pricito at Doral Hyundai. Let me give it to you straight here, gentlemen. The Marlins are going to play at 640.
Give it to you straight.
640 versus the Red Sox. Final game of this series. You can listen to the game right here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Tua will start on Friday.
Boo.
Return back to Miami. And how about this? Reporting from The Athletic, the NFL has decided to say see ya to the Pro Bowl games. There will no longer be any more Pro Bowl games. There's also not going to be any more Pro Bowl alternates because there won't be a game where you need to actually replace any injured players or players who will be in the Super Bowl. So it seems like they're still going to do an event and honor the players, but there won't be any more Pro Bowl game as there has been for a long time. NFL becomes the first of the Big Four to abandon their All-Star game.
What are they going to go to Dave and Buster's? What do you mean an event?
I'm not going to lie. I'd probably prefer to watch Devon Achane and
Deion Dawkins play laser tag.
Yeah, I'm not even joking. Wouldn't you? Over whatever it is that they do at the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, the Pro Bowl's a joke. Like when Mac Jones made the Pro Bowl one year, I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
By the way, when you said broken by The Athletic, that story, I wonder what Diana Rossini's up to right now. Like she's sitting there and she's just like, "Hey, another story that I could have been breaking." I just wonder that she's got to speak eventually.
Go deeper and deeper as the show gets longer.
Odds Zach Gelb would bring up Joy Taylor and Diana Rossini in the same segment at some point while filling in for Hawk over these next couple days were high. And ladies and gentlemen, he delivered.
There's a lot of jokes to be made there, but we got a break to get to Ira.
All right. Your weather in South Florida right now, it is 90 degrees. Tonight, the lows are going to drop into the mid to low 80s. That's brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting. Hey, don't wait until the next storm hits. Get your free roof and window estimate. Call 954-968-8155.
Ira Winderman, always diligent, was at the Heat press conference yesterday welcoming in Klay Thompson. He'll join us next on Hochman, Crowder, and Solana. Gelb in for Hawk.
Do you bring people into your anniversaries? Do you celebrate with others when you're having a good time and you're celebrating? No, but Ed Morris does. They're celebrating 80 years in business. That's why my buddy Chris Atkins, the GM over there, and his amazing team at Ed Morris Sawgrass Cadillac commemorated this occasion by giving you special savings on Cadillac luxury. You got to check out the all-electric Cadillacs. Cadillac figured out all-electric. 2026 Cadillac Optic for just $349 a month, and the all-electric 2025 Cadillac Lyrics for just $369 a month. Beautiful vehicles that you can get in at great prices. The Ed Morris brand has been family owned and operated for 80 years, and they know how to take care of their customers, and that's why they say backed by Morse, because they take care of us. Don't miss out on the 80th year anniversary savings. See my friends at Ed Morris Sawgrass Cadillac, the 6-time dealer of the year, off Sunrise Boulevard and the Sawgrass Expressway. You can't miss a beautiful lot. You can't miss beautiful cars, and you're going there and meet beautiful people that treat you like family. Visit EdMorrisSawgrassCadillac.com, and remember, you're backed by Morris. From the sale to the trade-in to the lease to the service, they are backing you, and you will feel it. Click EdMorrisSawgrassCadillac.com.
You're listening to the Hawk, Crowder, and Solana Show.
And to quo unquote.